Well, that was an eventful Thursday night performance, ladies and gentlemen. We ended up getting DeAndre Swift going out there and absolutely crushing. And I will admit, I didn't know if we should start DeAndre Swift going into the night. I was saying, yeah, we're really excited about the guy, right? But, I mean, hell, he wasn't really used week one, even if we don't have Gainwell. Are we sure we want to go all in on Swift? Are we seeing a committee? No. DeAndre Swift goes out there and lights up the world, ladies and gentlemen. If you were looking at this, DeAndre Swift, 28 carries, 175 rushing yards, the rushing touchdown. What is hilarious is if you're going to go ahead and if you are going to look at what we have seen from DeAndre Swift throughout his entire NFL career, right? This is a running back that's always been a great pass catcher. This is a running back that has gone out there and has been effectively used on third downs and has been able to average 5-6 targets per game in particular seasons. But really, we don't have the history of DeAndre Swift ever seeing this type of workload, ladies and gentlemen. We go back to 2022. DeAndre Swift had 3 games with more than 10 carries, 0 with more than 15. We go back to 2021. DeAndre Swift had 1 game with more than 15 carries. We go to 2020. DeAndre Swift had 0 games with more than 15 carries. So this is DeAndre Swift's second NFL game in his entire career where the man has seen more than 15 carries in a single game. He pretty much doubles it to 28, over 30 touches total. And the man looks like a must-start running back going forward. Because while, yeah, Kenneth Gainwell didn't play, I understand, blah, blah, blah. Fundamentally, at the end of the day, it may not necessarily matter if Gainwell comes back, right? Gainwell comes back, how the hell do you potentially go out there and look to use Kenneth Gainwell? DeAndre Swift earned this job. You went and traded for DeAndre Swift this offseason. DeAndre Swift comes out here and has nearly 200 total yards. DeAndre Swift has almost more yards himself than Jalen Hurts has total. Yeah, the days of Gainwell are over. Maybe Gainwell comes in and instead of DeAndre Swift seeing 28 carries in a game, maybe Gainwell comes and takes the carries from Boston Scott. Maybe he takes them from Rashad Penny. But even with the healthy Kenneth Gainwell, DeAndre Swift is going to be a must-start running back every week going forward. Jacob asking if we should go out there and sell high on DeAndre Swift. Let's hear you in the live chat real quick. Please let me know if you would rather have, let's start throwing out some crazy lines. DeAndre Swift or Joe Mixon. DeAndre Swift or Joe Mixon. Let me know, ladies and gentlemen, in the live chat. And yeah, we'll talk about Alexander Mattison in just 1 second. But we have Mixon, Swift, Mixon. Okay, thank God most people are on Mixon here. We got a couple Swifts, Mixon. Okay, so you're not going to be able to get Joe Mixon in value. What about DeAndre Swift or Kenneth Gainwell, ladies and gentlemen? I am right there with you. I 100% agree on the Joe Mixon call. We have Joseph says, sell high. I doubt the Eagles give him this workload consistently, and Swift has an injury history. Okay. But I asked Swift or Kenneth Walker. I believe, did we say Gainwell or Walker? Hopefully we said Walker. Swift. I don't see a single person saying Walker. Hopefully we said Walker. I've been live for like 5 hours today at this point. And okay, I accidentally said Gainwell. That was an accident. I'm very, very sorry on that, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, I'd rather have DeAndre Swift over Kenneth Gainwell. I meant DeAndre Swift versus Kenneth Walker. Oh, I apologize. We got Walker, Swift, Walker. Okay, so it looks like the DeAndre Swift value, while it's going up, it's not like people are all in on DeAndre Swift. It does seem a little bit reasonable. Looks like if you wanted to go out there and buy DeAndre Swift at this point, He's going to cost a mid RB2 to low end RB2 price tag. So, I mean, like we said, going forward, I think with DeAndre Swift, the expected workload should most likely be about 15 carries per game. I think you will see the consistent 3 to 4 targets out of the backfield. Keep in mind, Jalen Hurts can run the ball himself. So typically you're not going to see a running back have a high check down rate with that rushing QB. So I don't think we get a lot of usage as a pass catcher when it comes to DeAndre Swift. But side note, we are 4 likes away from hitting 400 likes in this live stream. If you have not done so already, go down there and hit that like button. And I don't want to spend too much time with the passing offense here in Philadelphia in particular. I mean, I understand some people will panic with A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's so good. Thank God Dallas Goedert shows some life. Y'all know I drafted so many Philadelphia Eagles this offseason. I mean, primarily we are going after the Dallas Goedert and Jalen Hurts stack. We have a lot of them. Obviously, I mean, I would rather him do a little bit better than this, but at least he led the team in targets with 7. Don't panic with A.J. Brown. This is naturally what you're going to see with some of these wide receivers with volatility, especially a player like A.J. Brown himself. We know A.J. Brown's going to be a big boom bust wide receiver. Fundamentally, the volume looked very similar between Smith and Brown. 5 targets versus 6 targets. So yeah, not a lot has changed when we're looking at those 2 wide receivers and how we view Jalen Hurts as well. Y'all know because of the rushing upside, Jalen Hurts was my quarterback 1 overall in fantasy coming into the season. I don't think that we are going to be changing that too often. And Monster says, clown on everyone who asked if they should start at Swift. I don't think that's reasonable to do. Honestly, I think it was a solid question on if you should start DeAndre Swift coming into tonight. I'm going to lie. I'm not going to lie to you. I did not have DeAndre Swift as a must-start running back even when Gainwell was ruled out. I thought there was a lot of uncertainty. Obviously, hindsight being 2020, it looks like he should have been. But yeah, I don't think there's too many takeaways specifically there. Now, going over to Minnesota, we drafted a lot of Hawkinson this year. We drafted a lot of these pass catchers. The reason being is we think that the Minnesota Vikings could lead the NFL in pass attempts. And if you're looking at this, they're kind of on track to do just that, ladies and gentlemen. Kirk Cousins, 43 passing attempts tonight. Kirk Cousins, 364 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and an INT. And what is wild about this, ladies and gentlemen, the box score doesn't tell the entire story. You had a fumble in the end zone resulting in a touchback from Justin Jefferson. I mean, it's a game of inches, of course, but we are this close to a 5 touchdown performance from Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson to add on a receiving touchdown onto his own stat line. Now, I think going forward, I mean, we're still going to continue to start everybody in this offense if we can. I think Addison continues to get a bump up. Now, full transparency, it's not like Addison has fully cemented himself as the number 2 target in this offense. You still did have TJ Hawkinson with more targets. You had KJ Osborne with more targets. But the guy that I want to talk about here, Alexander Mattison. Alexander Mattison now is in the official running for worst starting running back in the entire NFL. I thought Alexander Mattison was a start going into tonight. As embarrassing as it sounds, and a lot of other people would have said the same thing. They're just not, grown up enough to admit it. I ranked Alexander Mattison ahead of DeAndre Swift coming into tonight, and that looks so damn bad. The reason I ranked Alexander Mattison there, and the reason why I thought Alexander Mattison was a running back we needed to start inside our top 24 RBs is strictly based off the volume in the snaps that we saw week 1, and strictly based on how he projected tonight overall. If you are looking at Alexander Mattison, it does not matter if he is going to get every single snap. It does not matter if he is going to get every single touch in this backfield. We have a combination of 2 things at play here. One, the fact that Alexander Mattison is a horrendous running back. And 2, the fact that I guess if you're the Minnesota Vikings, and you have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, KJ Osborne to throw the ball to, and Alexander Madison's your RB, you're just simply never going to want to run it. Now, I understand you can say, well, Mason, come on, the game environment wasn't right for them to run, blah, blah, blah. No, you would think that Alexander Mattison naturally would see lighter boxes. You would think that naturally Alexander Madison's efficiency may have been up based off the overall game environment and based off the fact that, hell, they threw the ball 43 times and ran the ball 8 times. Naturally, you're going to face lighter boxes when that's your overall scheme. However, with those 8 carries, Alexander Mattison is only able to muster up 28 yards, good for a 3.5 yards per carry mark. And if we're going to be looking at his usage in the receiving game, yeah, he sees 6 targets. Cool story. He sees 6 targets, and at the same time only has 3 receptions for 11 receiving yards. So on record, I want to say, Alexander Mattison is no longer a locked and loaded top 24 running back in my rankings. I apologize that we've had him there back-to-back weeks based off projected usage, based off projected volume. That projected usage and volume turned out to be true. However, it simply does not matter when this is a team that's going to throw it over and over and over again, and Alexander Mattison is going to be laughably inefficient. Does this mean we should run out there and go pick up Ty Chandler? No. What this means is, naturally, you can't really start a running back in Minnesota. Maybe if they were to go through and trade for Jonathan Taylor, it could be a little bit of a different story. If they were to go out there and make a splash play for a running back with actual talent, maybe if they went and signed Kareem Hunt, maybe if they went and signed Leonard Fournette, I don't know if they would be good. I don't know if they would be better. But, I mean, at least we could see, at least we'd get a shot, because as of now, ladies and gentlemen, God knows what we are doing. And Angelo says, without the turnovers, the Vikings had a chance. I mean, the Vikings were able to effectively move the ball down the field. It was the turnovers, and most importantly, in my mind, just the worst rule in all of football. The fact that for whatever reason, if you try to make a play, if you reach the ball over, the pylon, and you end up fumbling in the end zone, it's a touchback and the other team gets the ball. Can y'all let me know in the live chat, what do you think about that rule? Can you please give me your honest thoughts and let me know if you think it makes sense, if it should be changed? Because in my mind, I don't see how it's not the worst. I don't see how it's not the worst rule in sports. We got some people saying that they love it. People saying high risk, high reward. Because the thing is, in my mind, it's not high risk, high reward. You're going to be down on the 1 yard line anyway. The only high reward is that Justin Jefferson gets the touchdown to put in his own stat column. If you're down on the 1 in today's NFL, what's the percentage of you going through and scoring that touchdown with 4 plays? 80%? 85%? So it seems like it's not high risk, high reward. Seems like it's high risk for a little reward. I truly do think it's one of the worst rules in sports. Antonio says, where are you supposed to get the ball back? The 1 yard line? Where you fumbled it? I don't know. At least that's what I'm thinking. Good rule, hold on to the ball. Just funny, because, if you go through and, slam it on the ground afterwards, it is a touchdown, whereas if you let it go before your body hits the ground, I don't know. See, I know football's a game of inches, yada, 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 but I hate it. Fishing Bass says, I played against Goddard and A.J. Brown with Mattison on my team. Well, my man, at least A.J. Brown didn't crush you. That was always a possibility. But let me go ahead and see that we have some donations to get through, and I believe we've covered a bunch about this game, almost all of it. So if I missed something that you want to talk about, please let me know in the live chat. And also, please, if you have not done so already, drop a like on this live stream. Subscribe to the channel. We've live streamed every single day for 139 days in a row. And if somehow you are not on Underdog already and you want to go check out any of these pick'ems, you can find the link to Underdog Fantasy in the live chat. Find it in the description. Find it in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK. You're going to get your first deposit match dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you're going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com, and also an additional special mystery pick'em for Sunday. I'll let you know it's Joe Burrow more than less than half a passing yard. Don't tell him I told you. It's Joe Burrow more than less than half a passing yard if you want to go up on Underdog. But E-Man says, Big Hawk, my man Hawkinson. I tried saying to sell Darren Waller coming into the season for TJ Hawkinson for a reason. TJ Hawkinson is one of my most drafted tight ends. Gotta love the guy. But let's go ahead and let's see our next question. I believe this one is coming out from Rex, who says Mason, Swift, Hurt stack with Hawkinson. You're the man. No, my man. Congrats on the absurd amount of points that you just got week 1. And thank God you started DeAndre Swift, because I'm not going to lie. We did tell some people to bench DeAndre Swift coming into the night. I did not know if Swift was going to do what he just did. But Sean coming out says, first of all, stoked for you and the YouTube back. Thank you, my man. I'm trying my best. My wide receivers are Lamb, Diggs, Olave, Walker, Jones, Hawkinson. On my bench, we have handcuff running backs, James Cook, Purdy. 10-team league. Should we just work with what we have or chill? My man, I think we're chilling as is. We have great running backs. I mean, assuming we have A.J. Dillon to play for Aaron Jones, we're in a good situation. Hopefully Watson looks better, but I mean, we're in a great spot week 2 now that we have the Hawkinson game. Now, Rich says 10-team, full BBR, double flex. You didn't like my Andrews and Garrett for Kelsey yesterday. Well, I traded Kelsey, JSN, Puka for Amon-Ra, Watson, Pitts, Odell. So essentially what we've done is we've traded Mark Andrews, Garrett Wilson, Travis Kelsey, JSN, and Puka for Amon-Ra St. Brown, Kyle Pitts, Odell. Gave him a lot here, my man. Odell's a little zero for me. I think it's okay for us to get and just completely panic and get rid of Garrett Wilson if you hated Wilson that much. Felt like we could have possibly got a better value. Jacob says we should absolutely be selling him hot right now before he gets hurt or before he gets 5 carries next week. Oh my gosh. If DeAndre Swift gets 5 carries next week, we riot, ladies and gentlemen. If Swift gets 5 carries, I'm losing my mind. Now, Eduardo says, thanks for telling me to start Swift and Addison. No, my man, thank you so much for being a member of the vlog and super happy for you. Super happy for you. Now, next question coming out from Christian says, 10T BBR 1 flex. Start a wide receiver 2 and a flex between Amari, McLaurin, JSN, London, Puka, Say, Kelly. My Hurts, Devonta Smith stack looks great tonight. Hoping Jacobs can rebound. Oh, my man, if we are starting off hot, I think we just get the guaranteed volume. I don't think we play it safe with anybody. I think we're going to, play it risky. I think we're going to go Amari Cooper, and then we're going to be playing Joshua Kelly if you were to have no Austin Eckler. But if Eckler does play, then we go Amari Cooper and Terry McLaurin. Now, Kyle coming out says, not hating on the roster eval from you, but didn't trade Swift like you said. We didn't know what about now, but we got the truth, baby. Let's go. Let's go, my man. Never really said Swift was sell high. I'm sure it was more so a construction thing, but the only guys we've been saying to sell high when it comes to roster evals primarily have been Breece Hall. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from Eric says, I'm back with another question. Receiving the following offer. I trade Jacobs, Ridley, Jamal for Jefferson and Joe Mixon. Clearly rather have Mixon over Jamal. Jacobs and Ridley versus Jefferson. You go Jefferson. Jefferson can end up the season with 2,000 receiving yards. Like Jefferson could have had an even bigger day today if that touchdown went in his direction. Do I risk it and play Kelsey this weekend? Hell yeah, you play Kelsey. Beast Mode says, need a running back in a flex. Najee, Zay, Breece, and JSN. If you're looking at my rankings right now, we have Najee Harris and Breece Hall ranked very similar. These are both committee running backs at the moment in bad NFL offenses. I have Najee Harris at 22, Breece Hall at 23. I probably end up playing both players if I'm going to be honest with you, though. Hate the matchup for Breece. Noel says, low-key need wide receiver depth. Do I sell Swift for Olave? Yes, you would, 100%. Already a Bijan, Stevenson, and Javonte, especially with that running back core. Yeah, I mean, sell high on Swift if you can get Chris Olave, ladies and gentlemen. Dialli says, I'm in a 16-team dynasty league, double flex starting. We have Allen, Lamb, Pittman, Ramondre, James Cook, White, Pierce, Roschon, Woods, Puka, Tucker. Was offered Jefferson, Sky Moore, Joshua Palmer for Puka, Pittman, Ramondre, Stevenson, and Roschon. Going from Stevenson, Pittman, Puka to Justin Jefferson is more than enough for me, especially in a dynasty format. We think about this a year from now. Next year, Justin Jefferson will still be the number 1 overall asset in a 1-quarterback dynasty league. Puka maybe is nothing a year from now, if we're all going to be honest with each other. He looks great. I'm rooting for the guy. He could be nothing. Pittman could be a wide receiver 4 in dynasty. Ramondre could have added in RB competition. We know how the NFL treats running backs. Roshan, Hook'em Lawrence, you know I love my guy. He could be nothing. Dynasty, you have to go Jefferson. JJ says, I'm a huge Eagles fan, and I have Devonta Smith, Jefferson, and Hawkinson. Great Thursday. Happy for you, my man. That is awesome. Now, Caden says, some bozo in my league dropped Swift for Kendrick Bourne. I have a $500 fab budget. How much should I drop for? Generally, I say I can't answer fab questions unless you actually give me the player that we are dropping, the league settings, how many bench spots we have, yada, 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 the whole 9 yards. Here, my man, we drop at least 80% for DeAndre Swift. You're telling me some bozo in your league drop DeAndre Swift. You go out there and you go and overpay for DeAndre Swift. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Derek, who says, we have Lamar, Derrick Henry, Eckler, Keenan, Olave, Pitts, Pittman. And then on the bench, we have James Cook, Edwards, Herbert, Boyd, Gabe Davis, Sutton. Who can we trade for Derrick Henry? Who should I start? I tried getting Bijan, Barkley, Etienne, but no. The running backs I would recommend trading Derrick Henry for, if we want to just get rid of all risk and have a running back that we feel super comfortable with going forward, I would sell Derrick Henry for Tony Pollard. I would also sell Derrick Henry for Nick Chubb. I think that those would be pretty easy calls, my man. And then you're saying, who should we start? Running back instead of Eckler. If Eckler were to miss, we're going to go James Cook. If Eckler were to play, I'm still going to play James Cook, but I'll move Michael Pittman down out of the flex spot onto the bench and play James Cook over Michael Pittman. Outside of that, we keep it as is, my friend. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from Sam, who says, 10-team full BBR format. We have Allen, White, Mostert, Tyreek, CD, Frymuth, Ridley, Williams, Addison, Roshan, Atwell, Richardson, JT. Any ideas for our running back situation? We have Mostert to start in the short term. We just need the long-term value. I'd say don't really see any trades that make a ton of sense here. But if we have the question mark long-term at running back, to just roster someone like Tutu Atwell doesn't make a lot of sense in a 10-team league. I would go out there and I would see if we can find someone that we like possibly a little bit more at the running back position. And then Tutu Atwell. Now our next question coming out from, I believe, Rorian or Roona, I apologize. 1 PBR, 12-team league. Any moves I should make? I have Hurts, Geno, Brian Robinson, Gibbs, Gainwell, CD, Jamar, Amari, Tutu, Watson, Laporta, and Pat Frymuth. When we have Hurts, we're starting him every single week, regardless of matchup. Go ahead. I'd let go of Geno. I'd rather roster a 4th running back here. I'm fine with us rostering 2 tight ends if these are the guys. But when we have Hurts, we don't need a backup quarterback, my man. Drop him. Go pick up a running back off the waiver wire. Now, Double R says, not falling for the Swift trap. This is his 1 good game for the season. Get ready for an injury report Swift all offseason. I don't know, my man. I don't know. I think I was going to be ready to say, yes, officially sell DeAndre Swift high if everybody told us they wanted him over Joe Mixon. If people told us they wanted him over Kenneth Walker. But no, nobody said they're making that deal. So if you're selling DeAndre Swift, you're probably looking at like Rachaad White. Can we ask this question? Can you let me know in the live chat right now? Would you rather have Rachaad White or DeAndre Swift? And we're not selling Jordan Addison high either. I don't see the reason to sell Addison. Sat Kirk over Tua. Will Tua make up some points? Tua will be fine. I don't think he's going to be as good as Kirk was tonight. I got to shout out the Flock for telling me to start Swift. Appreciate you, my man, but I will say there were definitely people I told to bench DeAndre Swift as well. I don't want to come out here and say, oh, I told everybody to start Swift. No, I didn't know what to expect with Swift. I'm happy I told you to start him, but I can't act like I told everybody to. Yeah, everybody's saying Swift over Rachaad. I agree with you there, but just so it's somewhere between Rachaad White and Kenneth Walker, the DeAndre Swift value. Somewhere between those 2 marks. Greenblocker says traded Wilson, Mooney, London for Ridley and Kupp. What are your thoughts? Laughably good. I mean, I would rather have Ridley over Wilson, Kupp over Mooney and London by a mile. Scooby Drew says traded away Jacobs, London for Higgins, White. I don't know if we like it. Unless it's a super deep league. I'd rather have Jacobs. Kino says trade, accept Khalil Herbert and $5 fab to send Joshua Kelly. Kind of up to you. Kyle says, Jefferson at 24 years old has more career receiving yards now than any Chicago Bears receiver in Bears history. That is one of the most laughable stats I've ever heard, my man. Thank you for sharing me that. I will definitely use that myself. Now, Muskendall Nova says, gave Mattison and Flowers, and we got T. Higgins. And now that we've learned that Alexander Mattison is the worst starting running back in the NFL, great move. Now that we know that, great move. Garrett says, 12-team PPR, running backs are Eckler, Mattison, Montgomery, Brian Robinson, starting Mattison and Montgomery at RB2 in the flex. With Gabe Davis, Jordan Addison benched, what trade could possibly make sense with Mattison? This is what I've talked about this a lot, but it kind of sucks. If you were in like a super casual league where your league mates aren't really paying attention, maybe you can go out there and swing an Alexander Mattison trade. In reality, who watches today's game and thinks, ooh, yeah, let's buy the dip on Alexander Mattison? Please let me know in the live chat right now. Is there a single person that is going through and buying Alexander Mattison? Please let me know if you're buying Alexander Mattison low, but this is why I get in a lot of trouble, right? I don't say to sell the guys nobody wants. I don't say to buy the guys everybody wants. Like we went through and said, I mean, my big push this week's been sell Breece Hall and go get someone like Travis Etienne. Breece Hall looked great on Monday night. Everybody wants him. Let's see what value we can get, you know? I'm not going to be the guy to come out here and say, yeah, let's go through. Let's sell Alexander Mattison. That's a great idea. I wish I would have known that coming into the season. I wish I could have told you that 2 weeks ago. Trust me. If I knew what I knew now, I would have told you. But yeah, everybody's trashing on Mattison. If you have some potato chips and you want to go send some, say, barbecue potato chips for Mattison, then sure, go ahead and send it. But ladies and gentlemen, we just hit 1,000 likes on this live stream. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. It's our second stream of the day. We've live streamed for 139 days in a row at this point. So please make sure you are going to go down there and hit that like button. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Crixie says, DJ Moore, Deshaun Watson, Khalil Herbert for Devonta Smith plus 2 drops. Devonta Smith and 2 drops. Josh says, traded Alexander Mattison, Dalvin for Jamar Chase. Beautiful deal. That is laughable now at this point. Owner needed running backs. Now we have CMC, Jake. Oh, this is nasty. I think we sit still. I mean, I think we roster 2 tight ends, play the matchups. Unless you have like a super deep wide receiver we can throw with Laporta and get an upgrade that way, I think you're in a great spot. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, X, who says, 12-team full BBR, should I trade Garrett Wilson, Barkley, Puka for Pollard and Higgins? Pollard, Barkley, about the same. Give me Barkley, but it's close. Garrett Wilson and Puka versus Higgins. If this was like Olave, if this was Waddle, if this was Ridley, I'd make the deal. I don't know if we do it for Higgins. Vital says, week 1 made me sad. With Swift, week 2 truly gives me hope for his viability, especially with my exposures with him. He handled that workload so well. He looked damn good. I mean, the offensive line is just so good in Philadelphia. Ty says, sorry if I missed this. Is Swift a must start now? Yes, DeAndre Swift will be a top 24 running back in our rankings next week, regardless of the health of Kenneth Gainwell or not. Brandon says, 12-team non-PPR. We have 2 wide receivers, a running back, a tight end, and a flex. Starting lineup is Richardson, Pollard, Diggs, Etienne, Pittman, Musgrave. The bench is Dotson, Watson, Judy, Hollywood, Breece. Should we trade Breece for Jonathan Taylor or Judy for Higgins, or am I okay? I'll trade 100% trade Judy for Higgins. And because this is such a shallow format, a non-PPR league where we only have to start 1 RB, and we have more than enough depth to play at the running back position as of now, I would rather have Jonathan Taylor specifically with this team long-term than I would Breece Hall. It's going to be a very specific thing for your team. Max says, glad I started Addison. It's a 10-team PPR 1 flex. We have Lawrence, Barkley, Pollard, Ridley, Flowers, Andrews, Addison, Taylor, DJ Moore, Mike Williams, Brian Robinson. What are your thoughts? Great team. Now that we have Addison breaking out like this, and we have so much running back depth, let's take Brian Robinson and DJ Moore and go get an elite flex. Let's take Brian Robinson and Trevor Lawrence and go get Lamar Jackson. Phenomenal team. Jake says, Kamara and Judy for Breece and Mike Williams. Breece and Mike Williams. And I've been saying to sell Breece Hall. Next question coming out from, I believe, MS says, Hurts, Swift, Addison, Zeke. No idea what you're asking. Jake says, offered Christian Kirk for Deontay Johnson in a half PPR format. Up to you. I mean, both guys are really nasty about this point. And we definitely prefer Mike Williams over Drake London, my man. But real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to take advantage of any of these pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy, it's not too late. You can find the link in the live chat, find it in the description. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to get a 100% deposit match up to $200. You are going to get our updated top 150 rest of season rankings and tiers. I'm going to have to update those again on flockfantasy.com tomorrow. That way we can get the DeAndre Swift update. And also, you will get an additional mystery special pick'em. I'm not supposed to say it, but this is maybe or may not be Joe Burrow for more than less than half a passing yard on Sunday. But our next question coming out from Anthony says, 10-team PPR double flex, Chase and Wilson for Kelsey and Brown. Beautiful move. Chase, Kelsey, similar range in a 10-team league. A.J. Brown, way over Garrett Wilson. Now, Dable in a Dream says, loving the show, brother. Thank you, my man. Trade thoughts, 10-team PPR double flex, Wilson Deontay for Walker Judy. I'd rather have Judy over Deontay. Walker versus Wilson. Full PPR format, maybe Wilson. I think it's a fair deal. I think it's a fair deal, up to you. Comp today says, you're the GOAT, Mason. Got Swift in all 6 leagues. No, my man, I promise you I do not have DeAndre Swift in 100% of my leagues. That is you. You are, by definition, the GOAT. That is awesome, my man. Peppa Pig says, should I take DK and DeAndre Swift for Amon-Ra St. Brown and a 10-team full PPR format? Team is Hurts, Jacobs, Ramondre, Chase, DK. If this is a league with one flex where we have JT coming back in the long term, sure, I do it. But that's just a general rule of thumb. 10-team league, one flex. Give me the best player involved. Thomas says, got the injury bug in one of my leagues. We need a running back 2, wide receiver 2, and a flex out of these guys. McLaurin, Dion, Zay Jones, London, Nico, Justice Hill. Also, Laporta over Andrews this week. Hell no. If Andrews plays, you play Andrews. Wide receiver 2, we're going to go with Terry McLaurin. Running back 2, I'm going to go, honestly, Justice Hill over, no, we're going to go Joshua Kelly regardless. Kelly regardless of if Eckler plays or not. And then full PPR for the flex, I go Drake London and send up a prayer that if the Atlanta Falcons are losing, that they possibly actually look to throw the ball, which we may not know. Nicholas says, played against Hurts, Hawkinson, Jake Elliott in one league, and Hurts and Hawkinson in the other. Can everybody spam the chat right now? I need your help in the chat. Can y'all hit Nicholas with some RIPs? Just say, RIP, Nick. I mean, it was nice knowing you. Your week 2 is over for you. But nonetheless, start 2, Wilson, Godwin, Puka, Kelly if Eckler's hurt. Kelly if Eckler's hurt, and Godwin. If not, Godwin and Wilson. But, yes. RIP, my man. It was really nice knowing you. It was really nice having a shot at possibly doing something in week 2. But some of us aren't built. If you went up against Hurts and Hawkinson in both leagues, you know what that means? Hit the gym. Go out there. Work on that defense, my man. Can't just focus in on the offensive side of the ball. If you went up against Jalen Hurts and TJ Hawkinson in both your fantasy football leagues, you got to work on your fundamentals there, my man. Okay. Cookies coming out saying, 10-team full PPR. We have Hurts, Jefferson, Olave, Devonta Smith, Kyle Pitts, Miles Sanders, Breece Hall. And then on the bench, you have Javonte, Brian Robinson, Kyron Williams, Zay Laporta. Any moves to upgrade RB? You know what I'm going to say. I've said it a million times now. If we can get from Breece Hall to Travis Etienne, I would love it. I would love it to take a small piece and get it done as well. Hell, trade Kyron Williams and Breece Hall if it's going to get us Travis Etienne. I do the deal for Mixon. I do the deal for Gibbs. I do the deal for Ramondre in a full PPR format. Outside of that, I think you have a great team. It's just Breece Hall specifically with Garrett Wilson. And Kaepernick says, better value in Dynasty, Etienne or Ayuk, #flock. If you're saying who would I rather have, I would rather have Travis Etienne over Brandon Ayuk in Dynasty. I mean, Etienne was my most drafted early round running back on Underdog this year. I mean, I love Etienne. This is a running back that at the end of the day is on a rookie contract that profiles to be a 3-down player. I mean, I'm all about Etienne, my man. Okay. Now let's go ahead and pull up these next questions. Noah says, do not trade Tua for Fields. As a longtime Justin Fields hater that has gone out here and talked about Justin Fields not being able to throw the ball, blah, 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 and I've gotten so much hate from Bears fans. You have no idea how many Bears fans want to murder your boy. Tua is a better real-life NFL quarterback. In a 4-point passing touchdown format, you'd prefer the rushing upside with Justin Fields over Tua. If we're going to be realistic with ourselves, rest of season. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from Lev says, what's up, Mason? Should we start Puka over Amari? Hell no, my man. You want to go Amari over Puka. Puka's going up against the 49ers. Joseph says, double flex, half PBR league. Got offered Gibbs and JSN for Nick Chubb. You want Nick Chubb? Not close. If this was Dynasty, you can go for it. I mean, looking at this team, I think we have more than enough wide receiver depth. Yeah, keep the best player. Keep Nick Chubb, my man. Roast Beef says, I can see Amari having a better game with no rain. I think Amari will be in a bounce back spot this week, my man. Rick Trifecta coming out says, who's a better second flex rest of season, Javonte or Flowers? It's very hard to know rest of season. Probably in a full PBR format for the time being, go Flowers. Calvin says, traded Pierce and Montgomery for Adams. Beautiful. Love to see it. Begin to panic on Mattison. Oh, yeah. The time to panic on Mattison is approximately now o'clock, my friend. Kier says, would you trade Chase and DeAndre Swift for Jefferson and Brian Robinson? Ooh, interesting question. Can everybody please help me out? Would you rather have the Jefferson or Jamar Chase side here? Would you rather have Jamar Chase and DeAndre Swift or Justin Jefferson and Brian Robinson? Please let me know in the live chat. Let me know, ladies and gentlemen. Just say Jefferson or Chase. Clear up a lot of things. Jefferson, 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 Chase. Jefferson, 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 Jefferson. I love it. Chase, Jefferson. I definitely think that Chase is an intriguing buy low, but 100%. When it comes to a player like Justin Jefferson, you have to 100% be sure that you are getting the better side of the deal. 100% be sure. Now, Andres says, Jamal, Moss, Pierce, who are we going to start? We're going to go ahead. We're going to go Damian Pierce, top dog here, my man. I'd go Jamal, Javonte / Jamal, whoever. Pierce, Jamal / Javonte, whoever it is, doesn't matter. And then Zach Moss dead last. Oliver says, trade Ayuk for a Mixon. I just did. Like it, my man. Like it. Rich says, also not sure if you saw, we had Watson in the trade. Oh, yeah. If that's going back to like the Kelsey deal earlier on, I saw my man. Solid Jenkins says, not the night we wanted from Goddard, but better than nothing. Struggling with the flex decision. I mean, I will say, Dallas Goedert did lead the team in targets. I agree. Hopefully it's better going forward, but he did lead the team in targets. And then Breece, Moore, or Hopkins in a full PPR format. With the Hopkins ankle injury, unless we get some great reports coming out tomorrow, I probably just plan on going Breece. Okay. Now, Big Route coming out says, should I trade Swift for Andrews in a 10-team standard league? We have CMC, Stevenson, Algier, and Dallas Goedert. Hell yes, go get Mark Andrews. I'm not going to be ringing the bell saying, sell Swift, but if you get Andrews, you do it. P-Man says, what should I do with Najee? Should we try to trade him? Nobody's going to buy him. You can try, my man. Go try. Ooh, this is a good question. Live chat, let me know. Who would you prefer, Najee Harris or DeAndre Swift rest of season? Let me know in the live chat. Also, if you have not hit that like button yet, what are you waiting on? Go down there, hit that like. Hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Scissor says, as a Vikings fan, I wanted to cry, but at least my 24% exposure to Addison in best ball looks great. It does look great. Obviously, I mean, solid start to the year. First 2 weeks. I think my most drafted Viking is most likely Hawkinson. Swift. So every single person would rather have Swift over Najee. We got a couple Najee fans out here, but it looks like overwhelmingly people are saying it is Swift. Okay. I like this one. Swift for the 2 more weeks. He's healthy. All right. So now our next question coming out from, I believe, got offered Swift for Lockett and didn't take it. Now I regret it. Not going to blame you. 12-team FBBR league. Should I sim for, wait, what? Should I sim for with the guy like Lockett? Who should I sub for? I think you're fine starting Lockett if it's a full half PPR format, full PPR, as long as there's some kind of PPR aspect to it. I mean, if you could go through and sell Lockett, possibly get to a wide receiver, say, in the range of if you can go sell Lockett for Amari, you do it in a heartbeat. But ACL Video says, 10-team Dynasty PPR, we have Patty, Geno, Young, Najee, Montgomery, Swift, Mattison, Wilson, Ayuk, Godwin, Addison, Dotson. I have a decent bench. What are your thoughts? I agree. This looks to be a team that is halfway between contending, halfway in rebuilding. I really want to see what happens over the next 2 weeks with these running backs. If this team starts to fall apart, we may want to burn it down and just build around Patrick Mahomes, Garrett Wilson, Brandon Ayuk, Jordan Addison for the long haul and trade away all the RBs and get Marvin Harrison Jr. next season. But hard to know right now. It's trending in a tough direction with injuries. Charles says, if I was to sell Swift, what wide receivers could I get for him? We saw someone earlier on get Olave. I'm assuming 99% of y'all won't be able to do that. But if you can get Olave, Ridley, Devonta Smith, Waddle, you do it in a heartbeat. I doubt it, though. Ryan says, 14-team PBR league where we have Tua, Tyreek, Judy, Sanders, Cam, Zach Moss, Andrews. For the flex, we have Hollywood, Puka, Nico. Would you trade Andrews, Sanders, Puka for Olave, Mattison? So Sanders to Mattison, clear downgrade. Andrews, Puka for Olave is okay in a 14-team league with 4 bench spots. Or Andrews for Garrett Wilson or stay put. Honestly, because we have Judy coming back, we probably end up staying put. Wide receiver, we have Hill, Judy, Sanders, Cam. Yeah, I definitely don't want to be trading away our best running back for Alexander Mattison at this point. I think we stay put. Now, Dialli says, I was in a 16-team PBR Dynasty League. Jefferson trade. Also have Hawkinson on the team, so I'm unbeatable if I take it. Appreciate you, my man. Not only unbeatable if you have Jefferson Hawkinson for this season, but also these guys aren't going anywhere anytime soon. Full PBR pick 3, 1 wide receiver and 2 flexes. We have Watson, Elijah Moore, Zay Jones, Rashad White, Sanders, JSN, Shaheed. We had Mattison as RB2 tonight. Not looking great for us. Okay, Watson looks like he's not going to play, so that's not going to be great either. Then we go Zay Jones if Watson misses. And then both flex, we're playing running backs. We're going Rashad White, Miles Sanders. Tom says, pick up Rasheed versus Johnston. Mahomes is at quarterback. We're going to go Quentin Johnston. And then Hall versus Gabe Davis? That's Breece Hall versus Gabe Davis. Go Breece Hall. Hopefully I'm not misunderstanding that. Connor says, 8-team league, what wide receiver combo should I get for Kamara and Burrow? My receivers are Diggs, Waddle, Keenan, Amari, Evans. We have more than enough wide receiver production. We have the long-term value with Kupp. Oh, to get Kamara and Burrow. If you wanted to trade, like, say, Keenan and Amari, Keenan and Evans, Keenan and Lockett, Amari and Evans, Amari and Lockett, Amari and Dotson, we can do that. Just specifically in an 8-team league when the floor doesn't matter, but the ceiling does, don't trade away Cooper Kupp. Jacob says, Swift or Gibbs? Full BBR format, I would rather have Jahmyr Gibbs. I'd rather have Gibbs, my friend. Lucas says, what's up, Mason? 10-team BBR league. We have Lawrence, Pollard, Jacobs, Brown, Allen, Kelsey, White, Cooper, Williams, Montgomery, Flowers, Algier, Puka. Who to flex and any trades. Quarterback, Lawrence. Running back, Pollard, Jacobs. Wide receiver, Brown, Allen. We are going to flex Rashad White, full PBR format. When we have this much depth and it's a full PBR league, let's trade Montgomery and Keenan and see if we can go over and get Calvin Ridley. Rory Arona coming out against us. Should we trade any of these running backs or tight ends when I have Brian Robinson, Gibbs, and Gainwell? We also have Lamb, Jamar, Amari, Watson, Laporta, Freiermuth. Not a full PPR league where Gibbs will continue to expand his role. We have Christian Watson banged up, so it's going to be harder to make moves. I think Frymuth is actually very appealing for the moment with the Deontay injury. Now, Nicholas says 12-team PPR league just traded Hawkinson London for Higgins. Already have Tyreek, Pitts, DJ, Addison, Hurts, Najee. Don't think I like this, my friend. Don't know if I love trading TJ Hawkinson right now. At least we got, hopefully we got the Hawkinson points this week. If we made this move, then it makes DJ Moore expendable. If we can parlay this into DJ Moore and Kyle Pitts for Andrews, then it'll be a good aggregate 2 deals. Crystal says Swift is on the waiver wire. Hurts, Debo, Hopkins, CMC, Henry, Goddard, Godwin, Akers, Hollywood, Charbonnet, Bateman, Puka. Who to drop for Swift, if anyone? We're definitely dropping players. My first drop would be Bateman. Second drop would be Puka. Third drop would be Akers. Fourth drop would be... Actually, third drop would be Charbonnet. Or Charbonnet would have been up there. I think we drop Bateman. Go get DeAndre Swift ASAP. Spencer says starting Flowers and Ayuk over Williams. If Andrews plays, go Mike Williams over Zay Flowers. Chris Godwin and London, what are your thoughts on this? I would be fine with it if you have no Mark Andrews. Flowers look great. Super excited about this guy long term, but I do want to be realistic. Ryan says, forgot that I have Laporta. I asked about Andrews. Let's go ahead and let's find this question. If you have Laporta, yeah, Andrews is even less appealing there, my man. Even less appealing. Now, Hispanic Hokage coming out says, flex spot, DJ Moore, Scary Terry, Algier, or Zach Moss. We're going to go ahead. We will play Scary Terry there, my man. Don't love the overall receiving volume we should have in Chicago. Joe says, 1-0, happy BR League. We have Eckler, Swift, Hall, Amari, Cup, Puka, Scary Terry, MT, DJ Moore. What moves should I look to make at wide receiver? Love to upgrade over DJ Moore if we can. If we can go DJ Moore and Puka to get to T. Higgins, I'd really like that. Straight up dropout says 10-team PPR league traded Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, and Pacheco for Higgins, Bijan, Gibbs, and Judy. Tyreek to Bijan. Probably Tyreek. Wilson to Higgins, kind of up to you. Brees to Gibbs, give me Gibbs. Pacheco to Judy, give me Judy. Seems like a pretty fair deal. I'd probably go Higgins side. It seems like not the worst thing in the world to get out of the Zach Wilson offense. Aristotle Enjoyer says Brees and Swift for Mixon. It's too much, my man. Love the idea, but too much. Would he trade away Garrett Wilson and Andrews for Chase and Pitts? I would, but I'm fine overpaying for these wide receivers like Jefferson, Tyreek, and Jamar Chase. Got offered Cup for Puka. Take it and run. Take it and run. Don't even focus it on RB2. Get Cooper Kupp right now with the long-term upside. Once Kupp is back, then at that point, we can go through and we can look to talk about what we potentially want to do elsewhere. Broski says 12-team app BBR format where we have 3 wide receivers and a flex. Who do I flex between JSN, Hollywood, Sutton, and DJ Moore? We're going to go Sutton if Jerry Jeudy misses. It sounds like he probably will play. And if he does play, we're going to go DJ Moore. Gabriel says, drafted Mattison. Swift is on the waiver wire. Is he a good? Oh, hell yeah. If you have Mattison, you need a replacement. So I would want to go ahead and I would want to swap for Swift. Jacob says, would you trade Higgins for Amari, Evans, or Debo? Or should I keep him in these scenarios? I'd rather have Higgins over all 3 wide receivers, my man. I would. Keep Higgins. I understand Cincinnati was disgusting last week, but come on. They're going to be better going forward. Vegas is projecting them as a top 5 offense in the NFL with their implied team total this next week. And Higgins did see 8 targets last week. But let me refresh this so we can get some new questions up on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. And as I do this, please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And of course, come on. If you want to check out any of these pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, find it in the description, find it in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK will get you a 100% deposit match up to $200. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com, and also a special mystery pick'em this weekend. It's Joe Burrow more than less than half a passing touchdown. I'm not passing touchdown, passing yard. Joe Burrow more than less than half a passing yard with promo code FLOCK, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. But let's go ahead and pull up our next question. This one coming out from Sundog says, Happy BR, Lockett, Flowers, London, Javonte. If Andrews misses, we go Flowers. If Andrews plays, we go Lockett. Bijan will expand his role. Please do not panic with Bijan Robinson. He's just going to be fine. Offer Derrick Henry for Devonta Smith. You want Derrick Henry here. You want Derrick Henry. Henry says, Cousins to the Jets. Also, is he an every week starter? Looks like it, honestly. And yeah, I actually tweeted out send Kirk Cousins to the Jets already. If you send Cousins to the Jets, Breece Hall is still a top 10 running back. And I would say, Garrett Wilson, a top 5 to 6 wide receiver. Now, Ryan says, Mason, I'm a Bears fan, and I don't want to kill. Well, thank you, my man. I appreciate it. Rick says, did I mess this up not starting Cousin over Burrow? No, you made the right call. Obviously, hindsight being 2020. If we could go back and change it, we would, but you didn't know that at the time. And then not knowing the production happened. No, yeah, if we ignore what just happened, I think the right call was to go Burrow over Cousins. Obviously, everybody in the chat, I mean, is going to scream, say, oh, no, Cousins was the right call all along. No, I think it was Burrow. Tony says, forgot to mention about trading Devonta Smith for Derrick Henry. I already have Jacobs and ETN. You want Derrick Henry. The Killer Sniper says, 10-team league where we have 2 flex spots, full PBR. Herbert, Eckler, Pacheco, Diggs, Ridley, Waddle, DJ Moore, Javonte, Brian Robinson, MT, Flowers, Christian Watson. Trade for an RB2. Should we try Christian Watson plus a bench RB or wide receiver for Mixon or Ramondre? Yeah, if you wanted to trade, say, like Christian Watson, I do like a lot in the long term, and then like a small non-factor piece at the bottom of the bench and go get Joe Mixon, where right now we're having to start Pacheco and we have an injured Austin Eckler. I think in that scenario it makes sense. I do like Christian Watson, though. Call Me says, do you think Pierce will be a viable RB2 this year? Yes, I do. Now, Historis says, 12-team full BBR, Hurts, Lamb, Higgins, Stevenson, Walker, Waller, McLaurin. And then on the bench, we have Moore, Collins, Gus, Moss. Thoughts and trades to go for. I think it's a solid team. We don't have a lot of depth. Yeah, there aren't too many trades we can make right now. What we've been saying for the past month is if you can sell Waller for Hawkinson, you do it. But now you're not going to be able to. Yeah, we don't have enough depth to go through and really find, a 2-for-1 deal that makes sense. Rubna says, fab percentage, Drake, Frymuth. We have Pitts, Evans, T, Flowers, Deontay. So if we're going to be picking up Drake London, we would be dropping Deontay Johnson. How excited are we to do that? Not too excited. It's kind of is what it is. You go like 5 to 10% of fab to upgrade from Deontay to London. I don't even know if we would drop anybody here for Frymuth. Are we going to drop Flowers for Frymuth? AK's coming out and says, just traded away Hall, Amon-Ra, Kittle for Etienne, Kelsey, Amari. Amon-Ra to Kelsey upgrade. Hall to Etienne upgrade. Kittle to Amari makes sense. Great deal. My team with this 3 is Watson, MT, Saquon, Walker. Bench is Watson, Odell, Richardson. Phenomenal squad. I really like having Watson and Richardson paired up together to play the matchups as well. Jeremiah says, a full 10-team PBR league. We have Dak, Bijan, Pollard, Connor, Herbert, Taylor. Wide receivers, Ridley, Amon-Ra, Olave, Puka. Tight end, TJ Hawkinson. I'm going to look to sell high on Connor if we can. And go like Connor and Puka for a long-term upgrade somewhere else. Or maybe like Connor and Dak to see if we can get an elite level quarterback. But overall, a super strong team with a lot of value. Just thinking like we probably don't need Connor, especially when we get JT back. Joe says 0-2 start, happy BR. Hurts, Eckler, Sanders, Devontae, Godwin, Andrews, Lockett, Montgomery, Akers, Cooks, Sutton, Elijah Moore, Kelly. Any moves? Obviously we want, how are you saying it's an 0-2 start, my man? Are you saying we play against like the league median as well? So I'm going to treat it like it's an 0-1 start. So at the end of the day, I mean, we're probably going to win this week based off how it started off with Jalen Hurts, or at least we're looking like we probably will. Happy BR Montgomery is going to be a hold for us. We need the depth to fill in Eckler. We can no longer sell Akers like we were before the season. And we have Kelly to play for. I think it's a strong team. I think we just sit on our hands. Joey says, need a wide receiver 2 in a flex. Judy, Sutton, Atwell, Dobbs, Kyron. I start Judy and Mostert. Unless we get more reports, Judy's possibly going to be on snap count this week. If we have more reports like Judy's only going to play like 10 snaps, then we probably pivot over to Sutton. Brandon says, how BBR, Flowers, Williams, or P. Ryan for the flex? We're going to go Mike Williams with Andrews coming back. Isaac coming out says, Pittman or Brian Robinson in the flex? Full PBR. Full PBR, we go Pittman. Love the stream and the effort. Had a great draft because, thank you so much, my man. And there are a lot of people that had a bad draft watching me. So if you had a good draft, it was on you, my man. Congrats on that awesome draft. If you had a bad draft, it was on me. And I promise you, I'm going to try to do the best I can to make sure it does not happen again. But if you had a good draft, the glory goes to you, my man. Now, Cameron says, 10-team Superflex contending. Are you trading London Frymuth for Andrews in a second? If we are 100% a contending team and it's not like we're borderline on the fence, then sure, let's do it. But keep in mind, it's September 14th. So at this time, we are always thinking like short term. If you would ask me this 6 months from now, probably it's, oh no, my man, obviously went the younger pieces. Now, Adi says, Dalton Kincaid or Tyler Higbee, who to start? We're going to go Higbee with no cup. Philip says, what do you think of the higher than on the 2-a-yard special? Nick Bosa for more than half a stack, Burrow for more than half a total touchdown, and then Chase. Okay, so generally when you're looking at these underdog pick'ems, they juice them to the higher than, because how many times have you ever seen someone in the live chat ask me, Mason, what do you think about DK Metcalf for fewer than 62.5 receiving yards? Nobody ever thinks about the fewer. What happens is they go to players that they like. They go, okay, he's going to go for more than this. He did that last week. He's definitely going to hit that. Jared Goff's definitely going to have 270 passing yards. And they go for the more than side. So I would just put caution out there for you, my man. When you are looking at these underdog pick'ems, I'm not looking to go through and take 5 separate players, and this is what everybody does, and this is how you will lose money. Do not take 5 separate players in 5 separate games and just go and say, they're going to have a touchdown. 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 You have a lot of times that it looks close. You have a lot of times that you get 3 right. You have a lot of times that you get 4 right. What I look to do is I look to find a potential pick'em that I'm a fan of. So an example of this would be, just say hypothetically, I really like Desmond Ridder to have more than 189.5 passing yards. I'm not saying I do. But if I like that, then I ask myself, okay, if Desmond Ridder has more than 189 passing yards, what is also likely to happen in this game? If that happens, Kyle Pitts probably has more than 35.5 receiving yards, then I also take the more than with Kyle Pitts. And then I go, and on the other side, I go, okay, it's probably going to be a high-scoring game, so we'll take the more than with Jordan Love. And we'll keep it to a small 3-player pick'em, and then we're going to be keeping it inside the same game and trying to create correlation. Typically, that's how I attack these. I don't like just going through and taking like 5 random players to go through and have a touchdown, So personally, that's how I look at it, my friend. And of course, if y'all want to check out any of these underdog pick'ems, you can find that link in the live chat, find in the description, find in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, 100% deposit match up $200, plus our updated top 150 rest of season rankings and tiers. And this weekend, a special mystery pick'em. It's Joe Burrow, more than less than half a passing yard. And if you're on Underdog, you definitely need to be including the 2 total yards, either more than or less than. It's on you, because they're going to be giving away $10,000 to 10 people this Sunday that include Tua in their special pick'em slip. But JB says, Mahomes and Tony for Josh Allen and Jahan Dotson. 0.5-point, 6-point passing touchdown format. 10-team league, doesn't matter. Give me the best player. Give me Mahomes. 4-point passing touchdown league, maybe Allen. But no, 6-point, give me Mahomes. Vincent says, we have Hurts, Chubb, Ramadre, Lamb, Adams, Higbee, Devonta Smith. And then on the bench, we have Kamara, JSN, Flowers, Pickens, Tua, and Pitts. Any moves? Higbee going up against the 49ers, I'd probably play Pitts over him, but I'm not a smart individual. Great team. The only thing I disagree with is something we can't change now is I mean, you probably shouldn't have played Devonta Smith in the flex. If a player plays on Thursday, never put him in the flex. Always put him wide receiver 2. Always put him running back 2. And like in this instant, you would move Devontae Adams to the flex. Okay. Ahmed says, PBR after tonight, would you trade Swift for Breece Hall? I would still rather have Breece Hall over DeAndre Swift. Cooper says, who would you flex, Sanders, Puka, or Mostert? Thanks. So thank you so much, my man. Definitely going to be down between the running backs. If you look at my rankings this week, I have Mostert at 19, Miles Sanders at 20. I could go back and forth with these guys. Rigor Mortis says, guy in my league traded Hurts mid-game for Mahomes. Yeah, so how I've ranked these guys all offseason is in 4-point passing touchdown leagues where the rushing upside matters a little bit more. I've had Jalen Hurts as my quarterback 1. And his 6-point passing touchdown league where the rushing upside matters a little bit less, I've had Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback 1. Now our next question coming out from Hunter says, would you trade Dobbs and Pacheco for Gibbs? Hell yes, I would. Scuff says 12-team half PBR format, 3 wide receivers, 2 flex, dynasty. We have Herbert, Pierce, Pacheco, Diggs, DJ Moore, Puka, Hawkinson, Dillon, Herbert, Dak, Edwards with Cup on the IR. We have 3 future first, 5 future seconds. What are we going to do, if anything? I think we need to wait to see if we end up getting Cup back. If, say, Cup comes back week 5, we're currently sitting 2-2, and he comes back and looks like it's all systems go, then at that point, I'll be willing to trade away a future first, go solve the running back position, and look to contend this year. However, if we get to week 5 and it looks like, okay, the Rams are sitting 1-4, and Cup's not going to come back, and we want to go through and we want to actually just burn it down and play for 2024, we will. I think it's hard to know before we see the clarity on Cup if we should be rebuilding or contending. Hispanic coming out says full BBR, DJ Moore, Scary Terry, Tyler Algier, or Zach Moss. Full BBR format, my friend, we're going to go ahead. We're going to go DJ Moore. K-Man says, PBR for the flex, Walker, Hall, or Pittman. Thanks. Appreciate it. No, thank you, my man. Really appreciate you. We are going to go with Kenneth Walker, even if the offensive line looks bad. Pooh says, standard scoring, London droppable for Zay. I'd give London one more week in a game where they're possibly trailing. John says, who won the trade? Tyreek Gibbs for Amadre Ridley and Keenan Allen. The best player in the deal, we're going to go Tyreek Hill. Emmanuel says, drop Dalvin or Mostert for either Algier or Kyron Williams. No, we keep Dalvin Cook and Raheem Mostert. Dalton coming out says, Javonte Moore, Michael Thomas for Mattison and DK Mike. I would way rather have Javonte over Alexander Mattison. Michael Thomas, DJ Moore versus DK Metcalf kind of is what it is. Probably go the Javonte side. I mean, the last thing I want to be doing is trading for Mattison right now. So I'm very sorry. Oh, no, we actually answered this earlier on. Yeah, essentially what we said is obviously hindsight being 2020. We should have gone with Kirk, but I think Tua will be just fine. I think he won't score as many points as Kirk just did, but obviously had no way of knowing. 10-team happy BR format, 2 flexes. We have Jefferson, Ridley, Olave, James Cook, White, Andrews, Lawrence. My bench is Jason, Johnston, Deontay, Deshaun Watson, Joshua Kelly, Kyron Williams, Bigsby, and Zach Moss. What do you think? I think it's a team that has a lot of upside in the long term. I think it's a team that really can't afford to make any moves right now. We don't have JSN breaking out yet. We don't have Quentin Johnson breaking out yet. We have an injured Deontay Johnson. We are going to kind of be sitting on our hands for the time being. Ben says, thoughts on the Indy backfield? We have both running backs. I think neither player is startable. Rich says, miss you, boss man. Happy to see you. If y'all don't know, Rich Production's been a long time. Remember the vlog. Am I going Walker or Montgomery? I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker, my friend. I'm going Kenneth Walker. I mean, they are 6-point dogs, which does suck, but still. Admire says, 10-team standard league, trade Chase and Gibbs for CMC. 10-team standard 1 flex format, give me Christian McCaffrey. Multiple flexes, give me Chase and Gibbs. Posner says, trade Swift and Cup for Jamar Chase. Hell yes, my man. Swift and Cup for CeeDee Lamb. Is this too much? Maybe a little bit too much for Lamb, but if we can get that done for Chase, do it. Ryan says, pick 2 wide receivers, Judy, Nico, Puka, Hollywood, and running back Cam Akers or Zach Moss. Okay. Running back, we're going to go Akers over Moss. That will make me cry, but still. And we're going to go with Judy and Puka if he's good to go. You know, we've been saying to avoid, Puka all week, but I don't know. Will says 10-team PPR for the flex. We have Hurts, Najee, Gibbs, Ridley, Amari, James Cook, Kyle Pitts. And then on the bench, we have Javonte, Devon, A-Chain, Tyler Algier, Zay Jones, Gainwell. Love you. Help, please. And thank you so much, my friend, for being a member of the flock. Here, I think that we honestly probably need to... Can y'all help us out in the live chat? I think it's a team that's fine in the long term. It's just more so a starting lineup question. Who would you start this week in a full PPR format, ladies and gentlemen? Please let me know in the chat. Everybody spam the live chat. Would you rather have Javonte Williams or Najee Harris in your starting lineup? Gross spot. I think Javonte probably expands his role. But still, I don't know exactly how excited we can be about this. Javonte Harris, Javonte, Najee. Where do I have these guys in my rankings? I do have Najee ahead of Javonte, to be fair, which honestly is probably oversight on my part. I think we get Najee one more last chance. It's gross. Well, let's see what Najee does today. I think it's a great team. I think we just have to wait long term. Now, Hergiles says, 10-team full PPR league, 0-1. We have Allen, Ramondre, Najee, Hall, Mattison, Charbonnet, Roschon, Chase, Adam, Laporta. Any advice? I would love to get off of Breece Hall to Travis Etienne. I'd love to get off to Breece Hall to Joe Mixon. I'd love to get off to Breece Hall to, Jameer Gibbs in a full PPR format. I would love to go through and just throw Gabe Davis in to get it done, even if we have Josh Allen or maybe Sam Laporta. But overall, good team. I think it'll be much better when we have a better performance from Josh Allen this week. Joaquin coming out says, 12-team full PPR format. Who should we flex? We have Algier, Bourne, Mooney, JSN, Shaheed. By the way, I have JT and Kamara on the bench. Okay, so much better long term. I think we will go ahead and we'll play Tyler Algier, even if we're not super pumped about it in a full PPR league. Scott says, 12-team full PPR league, was thinking of packaging Hall and Algier for Tony Pollard. Beautiful deal. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful deal. That's the exact kind of trade that we were trying to make when we sell Breece Hall, my man. Log says, how PPR trade Evans for Garrett Wilson? We have Hill, Waddle, and DK Metcalf. Yeah, I do have Garrett Wilson over Mike Evans in our rest of season rankings, even though, as we've said time and time again, I'm trying to avoid the Zach Wilson offense. Lucas has played Cousins, Jefferson, Smith in one league, and we have Hurts, Brown, Mattison. We benched Hall screaming. Luckily, we use our defensive players. No, my man. It doesn't matter if we played Mattison and benched Hall. Played Jefferson, Smith. And I guess the other league, we're not as good of in a spot, but at least we locked up one win for damn sure. In the other league, we're okay. We have Jalen Hurts going off for us. Now, Kicker says, DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, Kadarius Toney, Christian Kirk, 2 spots in a full PPR league. We're going to go DJ Moore and Christian Kirk. At least you can say that he has a good matchup going up against the Chiefs. At least you can say they're going to have to throw the ball a ton. Justin says 12-team PPR format. We have Hurts, Bijan, Walker, Waddle, Flowers, Goddard. We need a flex. On the bench, we have Watson, Pacheco, Davis, Zeke, Rice, Charbonnet. We have to go with Watson if he plays, Pacheco if he doesn't. At least we start off with Jalen Hurts. If it's a full PPR format, Goddard was okay for us with how nasty tight ends are overall. See, I think we are excited. Connor says, trade away Keenan and Lockett for ETN. Hell yeah. Frank says, second quarterback worth holding. We have Herbert, Dak. We need a running back wide receiver. I definitely don't think we can drop one of them. If you wanted to see if we can trade a guy, then sure. Cody says, start Ramondre or Ayuk, full BBR format. Great work, Brandon. Thank you so much, my man. I hate to say this, we're going to go Ramondre Stevenson. I know everybody wants to go ahead and play Brandon Ayuk. Realistically, if you look at what you have with the pick'ems on Underdog, last I checked, Ramondre was close to like 80 total yards, whereas Brandon Ayuk's only at 57.5 total yards for his pick'em on Underdog. Like a 3-down running back, we kind of just want to go with that projected volume. Now, let's refresh this page so I can keep on showing you all these questions. And as I do this, please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Hell, we've had like 3,000 people watching this. Let's hit 2,000 likes on this stream if we can. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We've streamed for about 140 days in a row at this point. But Joshua coming out with our next question. This is a 10-team PPR format where we have Lawrence, Tua, CMC, Pollard, Gibbs, Pacheco, Kelly. Wide receiver, we have Waddle, Godwin, Moore, Puka, Shaheed. Tight end, we have Andrews, Laporta. Any moves? Start Waddle, Waddle, Godwin at wide receiver, Gibbs in the flex. I think it's a great team. We just wait for the long-term breakout with Gibbs. If you wanted to take like Puka and DJ Moore and go get a long-term upgrade at wide receiver, I'd really like that. Joey says, I can sell Swift for Javonte at the moment. Let me know what y'all think. Can everybody spam the chat? Who would you rather have between Swift and Javonte? I probably would rather have Swift. It's a one flex league. We have Brees, Mostert, Diggs, AJ, Ridley, especially if we have AJ Brown. Also, should I be worried about AJ Brown? No, don't overreact with AJ Brown. He's going to be just fine. We have 2 votes on Javonte, Swift, Javonte, Swift. Now we have a bunch of Swift coming in. Okay. Yes, I'd probably go with DeAndre Swift. I mean, if he has the possibility to be the starting running back for the Eagles, it's worth a lot more than the starting running back for Russell Wilson. Now, M says, thoughts on the trades before tonight? Kirk and Higgins for Devontae Adams, Alexander Mattison. No, for Devontae Adams. Kirk and Higgins for Devontae Adams, still like it. Alexander Mattison for Burrow, looks great. So if you're telling me we went Cousins, Higgins, Mattison for Devontae Adams, Joe Burrow, phenomenal trade. Obviously, Cousins looked like one of the best fantasy quarterbacks that you had tonight, but typically Burrow is just a tier ahead. Zaire Algier in the flex week, probably go Tyler Algier. Kier says, would you trade Chase and Swift for a Hall and Javonte? Hell no. Or Jefferson and Mattison. Trade Chase and Swift for Jefferson and Mattison if you wanted to do that. Not because I like Mattison, but just because how much I love Jefferson. I mean, that's Tyreek Hill and Javonte. Never mind. Either one, up to you. I think all 3 packages are kind of equivalent and kind of comes down to your personal preference. I thought it was Brees Hall and Javonte. I was like, oh, hell no. No, is that Dion or Dan? Dean says, accepted a trade. Dotson, McKinnon got Godwin and Montgomery. Clearly would rather have Godwin over Dotson. Clearly would rather have Montgomery over McKinnon. Great deal. Rest of the team is stacked. We have a super flex league with Mahomes, Jacobs, James Cook, Amon-Ra, Waddle, Diggs, Kincaid, Daniel Jones, and we have McLaurin as well. That is awesome, my man. Love that team. Yagi says, Tua or Anthony Richardson this week? Tua this week, Anthony Richardson possibly long-term if it's a 4-point passing touchdown. We have Barkley, Pierce, Wilson, Scary Terry, Andrews, Mike Williams, Zay Flowers, Pickens for the last spot. I think we will go with George Pickens with no Deontay over Zay Flowers with Mark Andrews playing. But yeah, we're going to go Tua over Anthony Richardson this week. A to Z says traded Mattison and Christian Kirk for DeAndre Swift and a future first in a 10-team. Beautiful deal. Even without Swift, I'd rather have the future first in a 10-team Superflex league. We have Richardson, Purdy, Pickett, JT, Etienne, Swift, Stevenson, AJ. Okay, so we have I don't want to say a juggernaut, but we have a great team. We have a team that can compete and with that long-term value as well. You love to see it. And thank you so much for being a long-time member of the flock, my man. I really do appreciate you. Now, Vinny says, Doggo cameo, please. It's almost midnight. I'm going to open the door. If she's right outside the door, I'll bring the dog on. If not, I'm sorry. She may not be able to make an appearance. Hey, you come in here? She's right outside the door, but she's in a deep slumber, my friend. So we'll see if she comes in. I cracked the door if she wanted to. Alex says, full BBR league, 12-team standard. Oh, she's in here. I know. You got to wake up from your little nappy poo? You want to tell everybody hi? I know. You're so tired. It's so late. You're a good girl, aren't you? Come up here. I know. Someone got into the pond today, so she needed a bath, right? Did you get a bath today? Did Tanner give you a bath? I know. Say hi, somebody. Drop a like. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Use promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy. There you go. There you go. There you go, baby. Okay. Our next question coming out from, I believe, Alex says, full BBR 12-team standard league. We have Tua, Etienne, Mattison, Swift, Chase, Ridley, Hawkinson, London. The rest are just bench fillers. Do we make any changes? No, great team. If you wanted to trade, say, London, and if we could somehow package him with some bench fillers and get Jalen Waddle, we do it in a heartbeat, but I doubt we can. Or like London and Mattison, and all of a sudden get a better running back too, but I doubt we can. The deep end says traded Addison and Kelly for Garrett Wilson. Is this a W? Yes, it is. And I'm not even like, oh, I'll go buy low on Garrett Wilson. Also, at what point would you be worried about the playoffs in a standard league, starting 0-2, 0-3, etc.? The first fantasy football championship I ever won, I started 1-4. I would say after that, it does get a little concerning. I mean, if you start there's one person we had last year that found the channel at 0-6 and ended up winning. But that is so rare. Where if you're like 0-5, 0-6, it's getting ugly. Okay. Now our next question coming out from, I believe, Gabe says, who won the trade? Gave Brees, DK, received Jacobs, Evans. Jacobs and Evans by a mile, my man. The gap between Jacobs and Brees versus DK and Evans is massive. And we have the Mixon Chase stack. Love to see it. Keem says, who should we start, Brees or Raheem Mostert? We're going to go Mostert with Brees going up against the Cowboys. Trevor says 12-team app BBR format, loaded at receiver, JT on the IR. Pierce, trades. I have no idea what you're asking. Lester says, should I trade Ayuk and Swift for ETN? Can y'all spam the chat? This is an interesting question. Y'all know where my loyalties lie. Y'all know where I probably go. But would you rather have Brandon Ayuk and DeAndre Swift or Travis Etienne, ladies and gentlemen? Ayuk and Swift or Etienne? Okay, it looks like most people are saying Etienne. Yeah, I mean, you know how much I love Etienne. You know how much I love Etienne. Even if Swift looked phenomenal tonight. Now, our next question coming out from Michael says, Jefferson for Mixon and Wilson or Etienne. Jefferson by a mile. Do not be selling him. Eric says, I'm back again with the counter trade. Quarterback is Fields. Running back is Jacobs, Jamal. Wide receiver is Diggs, Ridley, Amari. Bench is McLaurin, Pittman, Algier. Trading Jacobs, Ridley, and McLaurin for Mixon, Jefferson, and Kirk Cousins. Jacobs to Mixon, downgrade. Ridley to Jefferson, an unspeakable upgrade. McLaurin to Cousins, who the hell cares? Let's get Justin Jefferson. Let's get the best player in fantasy football, my man. Mr. Siphon says, 10-team BBR double flex, starting RB wide receiver tight end, Bijan, Stevenson, Higgins, Cooper, Laporta. Who to start a quarterback between Dak and Geno? We're going to go Dak. He's not going to win by 40 points every week. Who to flex? Garrett, Algier, Kirk, Mike, Connor, Dobbs, and Jacoby Myers. We probably go Garrett Wilson or James Conner. If you look at the underdog pick'ems, right now they actually have, I believe, Garrett Wilson only at 51.5 total yards, where they have James Conner like 83 or something ridiculous. Now, with that being said, I mean, I don't know. Full BBR format, you'll get more target volume for Garrett Wilson. It's your call between Wilson and James Conner, my man. Joke says start Najee or Dillon at the flex with no Jones. If no Jones, Dillon, definitely. Epic Chicken says, should I package up Michael Thomas, Algier, or London, Algier for Higgins or Christian Watson? Oh, T. Higgins there easily. I would sell either deal. Obviously, I'd prefer to sell London and Algier for T. Higgins. Bobby says, full BBR 10-team league. Which 3 wide receivers do we start? Allen, Godwin, Flowers, Zay, Dillon, and Swift are in running back. Algier at the flower. Oh, my gosh. Beautiful spot. We start the first 3 guys. Go Allen, Godwin, Zay, Flowers. If we already started DeAndre Swift, I mean, we are in a comfortable lead right now. Sean says, who do we start at running back 2? Dalvin, Brian Robinson, Karen Williams. We're going to go Brian Robinson. Dalvin, super tough matchup. Horrible offense. J-Bag says, should we trade Bijan, Godwin, Kittle for Kelsey, Addison, and Walker? Going for Bijan to Kelsey, lateral move, slight upgrade, lateral move. Godwin to Addison, lateral move. Kittle for Walker, probably Walker. I'd probably rather have the combination of Kenneth Walker and Travis Kelsey than George Kittle and Bijan Robinson. Jesus says traded DJ Moore and Najee for Amari Cooper. What are your thoughts? If it is a shallow format, I'm okay with it. If it's a league with multiple flexes, probably a little bit tougher. In Money says, who to start at wide receiver 2? We have Debo, Wilson, Puka, or Kirk. We're definitely going to go Debo. I'm trying to avoid the Jets where we can. Kicker says, love the show. Thank you, my friend. Tony, Mooney, or Shaheed. For the love of God, you don't go Tony. I don't know if you saw if you were on planet Earth exactly 1 week ago, my man. I think we are going to go ahead. We are going to be taking Shaheed here. Will says, 10-team double flex league. Do I trade Walker and Flowers for CeeDee Lamb? I have Fields, Mixon, Roshan, JT, Tyreek, Devontae, Hollywood, Puka, Nico, and Laporta. 12-team format would be a little bit tougher, but if we're about to get JT back in, I think we go get the best player. I think we get CeeDee Lamb, specifically if it's a full PPR league. Ryan says, 10-team PPR league, we have Fields, Henry, Pollard, Metcalf, Hopkins. The flex is Mattison. And then on the bench, we have London, Javonte, Jamal, Puka, Sutton. Any trades and who to start at wide receiver 2? Our wide receiver 2, I think we are most likely going to go ahead and play. If Hopkins misses, if Hopkins misses, probably Puka. And keep in mind, never start a Thursday night player at the flex, my man. Like, I understand, obviously, Tony Pollard's way better than Alexander Mattison. But still, if Alexander Mattison plays on Thursday night, you put him in at running back 2, move Tony Pollard down to the flex just in case something happens with one of our other running backs. Now, Jay Magnum says, Christian Watson, Deshaun Watson for Waddle. What are your thoughts? Oh, Waddle by a mile. Waddle by a mile. And I like Deshaun Watson. I like Christian Watson. But, I mean, Jalen Waddle is, in my mind at least, a top 10 wide receiver rest of season locked and loaded. I think it's not a risk either. I mean, I think it's pretty locked in. Okay. Now, I can move her out. Hey, baby girl. Let's go. Come on. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. I know. You're so good. Let's go. Come on. Get my good girl, baby. There you go. Keep it moving. Keep it. Go. Sorry, we had to kick the lady out. But our next question coming out from, I believe, Joaquin says, thoughts and any moves in a 10-team full BBR format where we have Lawrence, Brian Robinson, Gibbs, Mike Williams, Jefferson, Hawkinson, Algier. And then on the bench, Richardson, Roshan, Bourne, Mooney, Shaheed, JSN, and Kamara. It's a team that's struggling right now. Long term, I think will be much better when we get Kamara back and when we have Gibbs expanding his role. At least we have those depth RBs in Brian Robinson, Tyler Algier that we can start on a week-to-week perspective. If we could trade Anthony Richardson and one of those depth running backs with either Algier or Brian Robinson and go get a solidified upgrade at RB, we look to do that when we can start Lawrence every week. Travis says, Flexbot, Akers, Moss, JSN, or Odell Beckham Jr. I probably go Cam Akers. I think Moss splits with Dion. Mirage says, a 12-team full BBR league. We have Hurts, Etienne, Hall, Jameer, Ayuk, Hawkinson, Algier. Swift on the bench. Got offered Ridley for a Hall. Yes or no? Thank you so much. No, thank you so much, my man. I would do it. I mean, especially if we have Travis Etienne already and we're making a consolidated bet on that Jacksonville Jaguars offense, might as well double down and get Ridley. Will says he also has Swift. That makes the trade for CeeDee Lamb even better, my man. Austin says, start one, trade one, bench one. Pollard, Walker, Javonte. Start Pollard, trade Walker, bench Javonte. Because you're going to get a lot more value for Walker. Isaiah says, Pacheco, Mostert, Williams, Roschon. Which two? We're going to go with Raheem Mostert and Jamal Williams. Or honestly, if it's Javonte, I still go Williams regardless. The Daily Will coming out says, got offered Lamar, CMC, Waddle for Tyreek, Pollard, and Fields. Fields to Lamar, upgrade. Pollard to CMC, massive upgrade. Super. We have Andrews, so to complete the stack. CMC is the best player in the trade. I'd rather have Pollard over Waddle. It is a very fair deal and up to you. I probably go CMC and Lamar. I think we probably can use the stack as a tie break. Jacob says 11-team PPR format where we have Breece, Javonte, McKinnon, Gainwell, Roschon. Wide receiver, we have AJ, Amari, Lockett, Michael Thomas, Gabe Davis. We have Hurts and Andrews. We need a running back. Any trade ideas? You've heard me say it a million times. If we can sell Breece, if we can get ETN, if we can get Mixon, if we can get Gibbs, if we can get Ramondre in a full PPR format, we would do it. We have a lot of wide receiver depth. If you wanted to take like Lockett and Javonte and see the best running back we can get in return, that'd be nice. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, if we are going to be sitting here and we're going to be relying, quote unquote, relying on Gainwell. Gainwell's no longer viable, my man. Like, if we have Gainwell, we have nobody. Team Exposure says 10-team league. I have Cousins, Henry, Aaron Jones, Lamb, McLaurin, Pitts, Debo. What do you think? Also, if Aaron Jones doesn't play, should we start Edwards, Kyron, or Zach Moss? Here we'll go Zach Moss. It'd be really nice if we had a stack. Like, if we can trade McLaurin and get Addison to stack with Cousins, that'd be really nice. I think it's an okay team. I don't want to come out here and say, like, I think it would be a very good team in a 12-team league. And a 10-team league, I think it's a fine team. Well balanced. We don't have to do anything. Julian says, trade Godwin, Evans for Waddle and Watson. Hell yeah, give me Waddle and Watson. Quentin says, 10-team full BBR league. We have Hurts, Chubb, Walker, Devontae Adams, Devonta Smith, Darren Waller, Mike Evans, Jerry Jeudy in the flex. How do you improve on the team? Love you, man. No, thank you so much, my man. If Judy's in the flex in a 10-team format, we have to find someone that's maybe a little more viable right now. Love the long-term play of Jackson Smith and Jigba, but I don't know if we can be rolling with JSN in the flex for week 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, Judy. I apologize. Tomato. I think long-term it's a great team. Obviously, we have an advantage in week 2 when we start Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith. We can't sell Darren Waller for TJ Hawkinson anymore. I would just see if we can pivot from Judy in that flex. 0-1, crazy to go JSN over London. We have Wilson as well. I don't think it's crazy if you really wanted to. Wait, you have Garrett Wilson to play? We definitely go Garrett Wilson over these 3 guys. Garrett Wilson's the best out of them. By no means am I going to sit here and say I'm excited to play Garrett Wilson, but I'd way rather play Garrett Wilson over those guys. Okay. Now, Primpt coming out saying, should I trade Hall for Mixon? If not, who is worthy? Oh, hell yeah. We do it, my man. I tried to trade him for ETN first, but if Mixon's the best guy, I would do it. Also, should I trade Goff, Waddle for Stafford and A.J. Brown? Yes, I'd rather have A.J. Brown over Waddle, and I don't think the quarterbacks matter here. And yes, we said Mixon over Hall. Keaton says trade Garrett, Debo, White for Lamb, Flowers. I'll go Lamb and Flowers now that we have the Rodgers injury. Briggs says A-Rob, Mingo, Roschon, or Bigsby in the flex. Down bad. If we're down bad and shooting for upside. Oh my gosh, my man. We are down bad. Mingo if Chark doesn't play. If Chark does play, maybe Robinson. Robinson ran a ton of routes week 1. Honestly, I can't do it. We go Roschon it if Chark does play. Caliber, long time remember the flag says, should I trade Dak and one of Watson, A.J. Dillon for Lamar? Hell yeah, I would. I know 4-point passing touchdown format. Let's do it. Week starting wide receiver / bench. I would trade either guy. I'd rather trade A.J. Dillon. And I mean, maybe you can because Dillon looks like he's going to be a solid guy this week. Cam coming out says 10-team full PPR format where we have Richardson, Ramadre, Kyron, Chase, Christian Watson, Laporta, Garrett Wilson. And then on the bench, we have Hall, Watson, London, Kirk, Addison, Charbonnet, Gainwell. Traded Hall, London for Jonathan Taylor, Swift right before tonight's game, a win or a loss. I'd rather have JT long-term than Breece Hall. I'd rather have DeAndre Swift long-term than Drake London. Great trade. There's no way in hell you can make that deal now. Okay. Gabriel says, Mason, what do you study in college at Texas? So before we actually got big on YouTube, I thought I was going to go to medical school. So I have 2 degrees from the University of Texas. I have 1 in biology and I have 1 in exercise science. If y'all don't know something about me, really like working out. I'm training for an Ironman, and I was on the powerlifting team in college as well. If you go to the first video on this channel, you'll see a video of me doing the NFL Combine, and I weighed like 160 pounds and benched 225 for 12. But I believe our next question coming out from African Lizard says, start to Roshan, Connor, Miles Sanders, James Conner. We're going to go Connor and Miles Sanders, my man. And then we are going to go Dotson over Hollywood. Mr. Filthy Wubbs, always happy to see us. Says, didn't PPR format trade Jefferson for CMC if we have Fields, Pollard, Connor, Amon-Ra, and Hawkinson? If we are going to get the Justin Jefferson points for this week, then yes, or sure. I mean, you can't go wrong either way. I meant Dalvin. Okay, we're not going to change our answer. I don't want to start Dalvin. Lightning says, have Wilson wide receiver 1, considering JSN more upside. I do not want to be starting JSN over Wilson, if that's what you're asking. Have BBR Lockett, Pickett, Judy, or Terry rest of season? Lockett, Pickens. Probably go ahead and go Jerry Judy, my man. I mean, obviously, it's going to depend on the hamstring. We should get some updates very soon, though. Okay. Now, Nick coming out says, 10-team full PBR double flex spot. We had Dak, Chubb, Walker, Devontae Adams, DK, Frymuth, Pierce, Judy. And then on the bench, we have Mattison, Juju, Cooks, Khalil Herbert, Musgrave. Any trade ideas? Thank God we benched Mattison. Great call. If you would have asked me before the game, I'd have told you to play Mattison over Judy. Great call, my man. I would have told you also before the game to sell Khalil Herbert and package, go get an upgrade at wide receiver, but we can't anymore. Now we have to just sit here and wait. Because I don't know if we can sell that running back depth if we don't have... If we don't have Mattison as a viable option. But Zoink says 14-team PBR looking for trade advice. We have Tua, Geno, Stevenson, Chuba, Charbonnet, Gainwell, JT. Wide receiver, we have Diggs, Waddle, Kirk, London, and Hawkinson. 14-team format, depth's going to matter a little bit more. Obviously, running back 2 here is garbage. If we can go to the team that just lost Rodgers, send them Geno and get back a running back 2 that we're okay with, that'd be nice. I'll send them Tua in their backup quarterback, whether that's someone like Sam Howell or not. We play the matchups and get in like a very strong running back 2 like Mixon. We could do that, but outside of that, you're not going to get any value for Kirk, London, 14-team league, harder to sell depth. Patrick says, would you trade Judy for Watson? If you don't need him to start this week, then yes. Tim says, White or Brian Robinson for Taylor. Oh, yeah, definitely go get Jonathan Taylor there, my man. Easy call to get Jonathan Taylor. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Asian Artifact says, should I trade Amon-Ra St. Brown or Ridley for Stevenson and Ayuk? We have Trevor Lawrence. Amon-Ra St. Brown or Ridley for Stevenson and Ayuk. If you have Lawrence, I definitely I don't think so. If you really wanted to trade Ridley for Stevenson and Ayuk, if we needed a running back, we could do it. But I don't think we do it under the circumstances where we already have Trevor Lawrence. Jay Magum says, love your hustle, man. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, my man. Really appreciate it. And Skrill, long time member of the flock, says, hey, Mason, should I look to trade Breece Hall, David Montgomery, and JSN for Etienne and Godwin? And yeah, thank you so much for being a long time member of the flock with us, my man. You know I appreciate you. Breece Hall to Etienne, massive upgrade. Montgomery to Godwin, or let's just go JSN to Godwin, slight upgrade for the short term, maybe slight downgrade for the long term, call it a wash. If Montgomery is on our bench and we have more than enough depth, we do this. If this is like a 12-team format with multiple flexes, probably giving up one too many pieces. I have Hall and Swift. Who should I look to trade for? I want to go through and trade Hall and a small wide receiver like Puka and see if we can get Etienne, Mixon, Gibbs, or Amandre in a full PPR league. Calvin says, pick a running back in a flex between Gibbs, Connor, Davis, and Michael Thomas. We're going to go ahead. We're going to be playing Jahmyr Gibbs and James Conner. I wouldn't have said that before we saw the underdog pick him on Connor, but they're projecting him for like 80 yards this week. Patrick says, if I traded Judy for Watson, I'd start Gabe at wide receiver. I would probably want to go Judy then. If that's the depth we're currently sitting with, you probably just want to keep Judy. HB says, PBR, I have Eckler, but if he isn't playing, do we start Javonte or Kelly? I would go Kelly if we have no Eckler. And do you think Amari will have a big week? I'm hoping so. I think Amari will definitely be in a better spot than he was last week, where the game environment was just all screwed, while at the same time he did suffer a small injury halfway through. Christian says, 12-team PBR format. We have Jacobs, Ramondre, Ridley, Godwin, Kelsey, Ayuk, Algier, Puka on the bench. What trades can I reasonably send to upgrade this team? I'm going to reiterate, I hate to say it. I know people are going to hate to hear it. Puka is going to be a sell. It's a phenomenal, phenomenal team. Full PBR format. Ramondre is going to be a hold. Pretty much everybody here is a hold. Unless, if we can sell like Puka and Ayuk and get to Olave, get to Waddle, we do it. But honestly, I think we probably sit still. That's a great team, my man. Jared says 12-team at PBR format. We have Herbert, Eckler, Mattison, St. Brown, Devonta Smith, Goddard, Dotson, Christian Watson, Kamara, Sutton, Joshua Kelly, Roshan, Kenneth Gainwell. Any moves? Banish Kenneth Gainwell down under, my man. Obviously, I'm joking. I mean, you can do whatever the hell you want there. It's just such a tough spot when we have Alexander Mattison RB2. At least we get Kamara back. We have Kelly to cover for Eckler if we really need to. If we could sell Dotson and Mattison and get an upgrade at running back 2, we do it. In reality, I don't have high hopes for it. I mean, your league mates are smart. They watched what happened tonight. Josu says, traded Khalil Herbert, Michael Pittman for Hopkins and Robinson. I like it if Hopkins is good with the ankle. Livin says, hey, Mace, I loved your content since I started playing fantasy football. Thank you so much, my friend. Happy BR 3 flex. We have Lamar, CMC, Josh Jacobs, DK, Williams, Laporta, Mattison, Rashad White, Montgomery. And then on the bench, we have Addison, Nico, Cup, thinking we need to trade for a wide receiver. I agree. In a league where you have, say, 3 flex spots, typically if it's either a full or half PBR format, we do want to build around the wide receiver position, particularly depth. That way we have guys that we can start with confidence in those flex spots every week. Whereas in reality, my man, I mean, if we're going to be looking at this, we probably would prefer for us to just actually go through and sit still. I would have tried to sell David Montgomery if it was maybe a full PBR format, half PBR format. I think he's a clear hold. We're going to get cut back in a few weeks. We at least have players that we're starting at the moment. I hate to say this. I think we sit on our hands. Long-term, when we get Cup and we have CMC, Jacobs, Cup, Lamar, and great wide receiver depth, we're solid. And I agree, this is kind of the format where you want to punt tight ends. Jack says, trade Montgomery for Gibbs. Full PPR format, yes. Non-PPR format, no. Davis says, what are we thinking about A.J. Brown? We'll be completely fine. Just super volatile wide receiver. I mean, he will have his elite level weeks. Lucas says, how do you feel about A.J. Brown rest of season rankings? Not panicking at all. How should I trade James Conner, my third running back, for Kittle? Double flex league, no kicker. We have Pat Freiermuth starting now. I wouldn't do this right this second. Reason being is if you look at Freiermuth, I think Freiermuth is actually going to be a must-start tight end over the next few weeks whenever we have no Deontay Johnson. I think you should expect an overall expanded target share for him in this offense. So I'm actually fine rolling with Freiermuth at this moment. Nathaniel says, 12 DPBR, who do we start at the flex, Dotson or Flowers? We're going to go Flowers, my man. Scooter says, which two should I play? Moore, London, Algier, Kirk, Dobbs. Also, any trades to look for. Thanks, man. No, thank you, my man. 14-team format depth's going to be so much harder to come by. We're going to go DJ Moore and Tyler Algier. We can't really, I mean, if we get a sell-high moment, say Romeo Dobbs crushes again this week, but with no Christian Watson, and then we can sell Romeo Dobbs next week, we do it. In reality, I don't think we have any sell-high players right now. Will says, any chance you missed a previous donut? I'm very sorry if we did, my man. Let me go ahead and pull up our other screen just to make sure we can get that for you. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we are less than 100 likes away from hitting 2,000 likes on this live stream. So please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this stream. Help us out. This is day 139 in a row of live streaming. So of course, also, if you somehow are not subscribed to the channel, fix your life, go down there and subscribe. Okay. This is a 10-team BBR 1 flex league for Will. We have Hurts, Najee, Gibbs, Ridley, Amari, Cook, Pitts. We have Javonte, Algier, Devon Achane, Zay Jones, Kenneth Gainwell. We did look at this earlier for you, my man, and essentially we went back and forth going like, do we start Javonte? Do we start Najee Harris? We said we kind of stick with Najee. I think you have it as we want it. And I think we have the long-term upside as well whenever we're going to be looking at Cooper Kupp coming back in. Okay, our next question coming out from Steven says, 12-team full BBR league. We have Tyreek, Diggs, Ridley, Ramondre, Dameon Pierce. On the bench, we have Javonte, Brian Robinson, Gibson, Hollywood. Trade ideas for a running back 2, or do we stay as is? Specifically because we have so many different depth pieces, one thing we could try doing if you wanted is if we could go to like the team that maybe drafted J.K. Dobbins, that maybe is lacking the depth themselves right now, but they have a running back at the top end that we like, say like Jahmyr Gibbs, and we can go, hey man, I'll give you Dameon Pierce and Brian Robinson, so you have someone to start in running back 2, and just give me Jahmyr Gibbs, give me the 1 upgrade. If you could go ahead and do that, I think that would be the most natural move for running back 2, and maybe the most realistic. Rich says, drafted JT in app BBR format. My running backs are Pollard, Mattison, Montgomery, Sanders. Any trade ideas? Wide receiver set? No. Sit still. Start Pollard, Montgomery. If it was a full BBR league, I'd sell Montgomery. Half BBR, I think you hold. And yeah, we just wait till JT gets back. Patrick says 14-team app BBR where we have Hurts, Brees, Brian Robinson, Algier, JT, Moss, Gibson, Chase, Judy, Gabe, Jaden Reed, Bateman, Musgrave, Hunter Henry. Any moves? 14-team format. This is where I'm going to be fine punting tight end. Really like that we're not rostering a backup quarterback when we have Hurts. You've heard me say a million times by now, my man, I'd sell Brees for ETN if I can. We're going to be getting JT back in a week. At that point, we'll have a lot of running back depth. We're about to get Jerry Jeudy back for full. So I'll say we're not going to do anything right now. We're going to be waiting until we get JT and Jeudy back 100%. When that does happen, I think it would be interesting to potentially go through and take Tyler Algier and trade him in a package with maybe someone like Gabe Davis to get a long-term upgrade at wide receiver. Charles says 10-team BBR format where we have Jacobs, Lawrence, Stevenson, Tyreek, Smith, Andrews, Sanders, Judy at the flex. We have Dotson, Hollywood, and Tua on the bench. Any moves? Thanks, man. No, thank you so much, my friend, for being a member of the flock. And it's an interesting thing on, like, when we have Tua, are we good to potentially go through and see what kind of value we could get on the open market? Like, if we could sell Tua and say, like, Jerry Jeudy and go get Calvin Ridley to stack with Lawrence, that's definitely something I do, right? At least I think so. If you're telling me we have 2 flex spots, I think that's the trade. I mean, we have a great team at the very top end. We've been lucky about injuries outside of missing Andrews for a week, but Andrews should come back. I love the team. I think the only thing we could do is maybe try to extract some value from Tua. Now, Saj coming out says 12-team app BBR where we have Kirk, CMC, Etienne, Amonra, Amari, Pierce, Ingram. And then on the bench, we have Purdy, Pickens, Cooks, Roschon, Hill, Brian Robinson, Hayden Hurst. Any moves? That's Taysom Hill. Cut Taysom Hill. Is Justice Hill you're fine holding? I think in terms of trades, we kind of sit still. Maybe after this week, we could explore a potential trade like sending one of these wide receivers and Kirk Cousins for an elite level quarterback if we can get one. Obviously, we're not doing that right now. We're going to have to let the week play out. But I really like the team, my man. I like the team. Noah says, at Hawkinson and bench Swift, start Flowers or Terry. All good, my man. I would have started Flowers over Swift coming in the week as well. Yeah, we are going to probably go ahead and we're probably going to take Flowers. Yeah, I mean, if you add Hawkinson, we're still looking good. Mark says, Devon Achane, Addison for Jahmyr Gibbs. Give me Jahmyr Gibbs, definitely. Will, all good, no, my man. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, and I really do appreciate you, my man. Jay says, a 12-team PPR format, where should we improve? We have Tua, Geno, Pollard, Pierce, Adams, Higgins, Godwin, Musgrave. And then on the bench, we have Deontay, Khalil Herbert, Dylan, Kyron, and Tank Bigsby. We lose the depth with Deontay, so now the tight ends upgrade's going to be a little bit harder to come by. Probably would look to roster 2 tight ends if Luke Musgrave is our top guy. I would rather roster 2 tight ends, and like if we can drop Geno and go pick up another tight end we like off the waiver wire, rather roster 2 tight ends if we have Musgrave as our starting tight end and 2 as our starting quarterback than 2 QBs. And outside of that, just make sure we monitor the injury that we have with Aaron Jones, where A.J. Dillon looks like he potentially be a must-start running back this week, my friend. Pallet says, Kendrick Bourne, Sky Moore, Elijah Moore, Shaheed. Where do you guys we're going to be starting? Honestly, probably either Elijah Moore or Shaheed. Up to you. I'd probably go Elijah Moore. Master Teal coming out and says, 10-team PPR format. We have Kirk Cousins, Jordan Love, Bijan, Algier, Diggs, Devonta Smith, Hawkinson, Pierce. And then on the bench, we have Kamara, Herbert, Justice Hill, Thomas, Kendrick Bourne. Any moves? Khalil Herbert is 100% expendable here for this team. I mean, we're already strong at running back. Khalil Herbert doesn't have a high ceiling. And now we're going to be adding in Alvin Kamara, so we have even more depth. If you could take maybe Khalil Herbert and package with a wide receiver like Michael Thomas and go get a player like T. Higgins, I think that could be a move that we look for in a 10-team league, specifically when we're about to get Alvin Kamara back. Pedro says we have Lamar, Pollard, Swift, Diggs, Waddle, Hall, Kittle, Williams, Nico Collins, Juju, Devon Achane. Any upgrades we should look for? Maybe a running back upgrade. My man, you had Swift blowing up this week. I think we want to probably improve a running back depth. You know, I'm going to say sell Hall for ETN if we can. I would go through and I would sell Nico Collins with him in that package if it's going to get it done. But outside of that, I mean, sitting with Pollard, Swift, and Hall, I don't necessarily think you need a running back upgrade. Strong at quarterback, strong at tight ends. If we can ever go pick up like a running back or wide receiver off the waiver wire that we like a lot and he pops and we can sell him high with Kittle to get Andrews, I would like to do that. But for now, they were chilling. Dimes out again says 10-team double flex PPR format. We have Hurts, Najee, Jamal, Devontae Adams, Amari, Kelsey, Godwin, Flowers, Lockett, Gainwell, Pacheco. Need a running back upgrade badly. Any suggestions? We're not going to get anything for Najee right now. Possibly we can get something for Jamal. If you wanted to go Jamal, I mean, a wide receiver that's hot, he looks great, but if you actually wanted to upgrade running back, if you wanted to send like Jamal and Flowers to see in a PPR league if we can get to Ramadre, see if we can get to Gibbs, see if we can get to, you're not going to get to ETN, but we can try it, see if we can get to Mixon. Those would be the running backs I'd be looking to target in that range. But yeah, I mean, you try with Najee. I feel like, honestly, you maybe have a better chance selling Jamal than Najee, as crazy as that sounds. Julian says 12-team PPR format where we have Herbert, Saquon, Cook, Higgins, Godwin, and Njoku, Evans. And then on the bench, we have Puka, Tutu, Pirine, McKinnon, Ertz, Kupp, Taylor. Any moves? No moves right now. And then I know it's so boring me saying this. I mean, we say this nonstop to teams that have the combination of Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor. But when we have the combo of Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor, it is going to be a very, very tough spot, my man, to make any trades. Like, I would still see if we can take like Puka and Njoku and get a long-term upgrade at tight ends. But in reality, I mean, I don't even know if we want to do that specifically because we just have no depth behind it, you know? So we kind of have to hold until we get those guys. I would still go Breece Hall over Najee Harris rest of season. Armstig says, 10-team PPR format. We have Daniel Jones, Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, Derrick Henry, Ramadre, Hawkinson, Evans. And then on the bench, we have Algier, James Cook, Jay Williams. I don't know which Jay Williams that is. Christian Watson, Brandon Cooks, Puka. Any moves? Definitely, if we have this kind of depth, Puka's a sell. Like, let's go through and let's see if we can package together Puka. Like, there's no reason when we have this kind of depth at running back and wide receiver for us to be starting Daniel Jones at quarterback. Let's take one of these bench guys, whether that's Jamal, whether that's Javonte, it doesn't matter. Let's send Javonte and Puka and Daniel Jones and go get a quarterback we're actually excited to start every single week. Because then we are fundamentally making a difference with our expected points per game in our starting lineup, while at the same time having more than enough production to go around when it comes to what we are getting at wide receiver and running back. I mean, and with our depth overall. Now, our next question coming out from Isaiah says, 10-team half PPR formats. We have Lawrence, Waddle, Debo, Shaheed, Pacheco, Mostert, Kelsey. The flex is Mooney. Hope we can fix this. Yeah, we have no depth. I mean, if Myers plays, definitely play him over Mooney, but Myers probably won't play. If we can trade Musgrave and Mooney and go get a better flex, let's do it. Fundamentally, if we have Kelsey and we have Lawrence, while we know that when we take these tight ends and quarterbacks so highly, we will be a little bit underweight at running back and wide receiver production. In the long term, you can make up for it if we were to go through and if we were to optimize our roster at the bottom end for high upside running backs, wide receivers. But here we are sitting with a backup quarterback. We are sitting with the backup tight end. So I don't think we can really make too many moves when it comes to trades. But I do think we probably want to be dropping Geno Smith and probably dropping Luke Musgrave once we get confirmation that Travis Kelce is 100% good to go. Obviously, plan A is trade Luke Musgrave in any package to get any upgrade. But then plan B is just to let him go. And then because we need help at running back, wide receiver, we have to roster as many as we can. Hopefully hit on high upside waiver wire option. Trade Hurts and Chubb for Fields and CMC. Oh my gosh, I was going to say no immediately, but here this is actually interesting. I'm fine with it, my man. Jalen Hurts, one of my most drafted players this year. Like we've been saying, I think this is someone that can be the number one overall scoring option in fantasy football. But getting CMC, I mean, kind of have to do it. Robert says 12-team league, full PPR format. We have Dak, Goff, Jefferson, Ridley, Mixon, Pierce, Ferguson, Evans, Puka, Laporta, Roshan, Kyron, Kamara, Marvin Jones, double flex and he moves. Cut Marvin Jones first off. You'll be able to find someone with more upside down there on the waiver wire. I mean, we're going to start Jefferson, Ridley, Mixon, Pierce, Evans, Puka. So we don't have a lot of depth until we get Kamara back. I like the team overall. Actually, no, we have Laporta. I think you could explore the possibility of playing Laporta over Ferguson. Really kind of up to you here. If we could sell Ridley for Lamb to get the Dak stack, I would really like that. But overall, great team. I think we just want to make those small adjustments down there on the bench. Batmax says, in one league, I flipped Mattison for Pierce. Oh, beautiful. And in another league, I flipped Kirk and Elijah for Gibbs. Lost. Oh, my man. Coming out of your flexing on us. There's no way you made that Mattison move after the game, though. Charles says, I forgot to mention it is one flex. Let me pull this back up for Charles real quick. Oh, yeah, my man, with this, I assumed it was one flex. Like, the way you typed it out, I was like, oh, actually, no, never mind. We thought it was two flexes with Sanders and Judy. If it's one flex there, we are 100% more inclined to make that to a trade and get the dominant flex player in. If it's a one flex format, inherently, we are more excited to make a 2-for-1 deal, whereas if it was a deeper starting lineup overall. Okay, Joshua says, 10-team super flex. We have Brees and Amari for JT and Waddle. Give me JT and Waddle. Assuming that we didn't need to start a running back right now. Assuming that we have enough running back depth. Okay, Anthony says, hey, Mason, I just made a trade today. Brees Hall and Puka for ETN. What do you think? I know you're trolling me. You know I've said this a million times. I love it. I think if anybody actually is able to go through and trade Brees Hall and Puka for Travis Etienne from this live stream, you're going to be very happy with yourself 6 weeks from now. Big Wolf says, traded Lamar Javante for Barkley and Amari. Generally, I don't like trading away the elite level quarterback, but we have Anthony Richardson. This team is great top to bottom. We are getting such a good price point on Saquon Barkley here. Yeah, this is great, my man. I love it. Anthony says, need a running back too. Who can we target for Zay and or Addison? Trying to think. If you wanted to move one of these wide receivers for like the Walker range, that'd be a no-brainer. Pulling up our rankings. If you're desperate for RB, maybe you're going like White, Connor, Montgomery, James Cook range. Pedro says, won't get Travis Etienne. Should I trade Hall for Gibbs? If you don't need a short-term starting running back and it is a full PPR format and we could possibly get a slight upgrade wide receiver too elsewhere, yes. Johnny says, 10-team PPR league. We have Fields, Jacobs, Ramadre, Diggs, Ayuk, Andrews, Rashad White, and James Cook. Any suggestions? When we have this much running back depth, I think we can afford to go out there and tell the Dobbins owner and go, hey, man, I'll give you Rashad White and Brandon Ayuk. Give me an elite level wide receiver one. Go to the JT owner and go, hey, man, obviously we're not doing both, but just try out a couple of different of these moves. There you go. Hey, man, I'll give you James Cook and Justin Fields. Give me Jalen Hurts. Let's move on. When we have 4 viable starting running backs here, I think we have to try to take advantage of a couple of those teams that just simply don't. Now, Wembley coming out saying 12-team full PPR format, 1 flex. We have Fields, Hill, St. Brown, Moore, Stevenson, Sanders, Pitts. Thoughts on Hill in a running back for CMC, Debo, or Ridley? If you wanted to go Tyreek Hill and any running back here for Christian McCaffrey and Calvin Ridley, I would do it. If it was Debo Samuel, I don't know if I would love to go Tyreek and Stevenson for CMC and Debo. I would definitely do Tyreek and either Tyreek and Miles Sanders for CMC and Debo on that end. But yeah, I like the idea. Okay. Now, Kelby says 12-team at PBR, 1 flex. We have Allen, Smith, Amari, Jacobs, Hall, Andrews, Flowers. And then on the bench, we have Judy, Odell, Gibson, Hodgins, Roschon, and Ferguson. I think Isaiah Hodgins is an intriguing best ball option from a real life perspective. If we don't get what we see one more week, probably going to go ahead and look to move on. You've heard me say it a million times. If we can take one of those depth guys like, say, Antonio Gibson and Breece Hall and go get ETN, we do it. But probably tired of hearing me say that by now. After this week, if we can go for like a 2-for-1 deal and sell like Judy and Devonta Smith, say if Diggs has a down performance, and get the Diggs stack with Allen, we go for that. But it's probably much easier said than done. Now, Gabriel coming out says 10-team BBR league. We have Allen, Pollard, Pacheco, Chase, Amari, and Njoku, and Brees. On the bench, we have Watson, JT, Kirk, Tony, Myers, Zay. Any moves? Not right now, other than cutting Kadarius Toney, going to the waiver wire to find a high upside running back. We're rostering a ton of wide receivers, not many RBs here. And yeah, we can't really be making any trades when we're waiting for waiting for JT and Christian Watson to come back. Outside of the trade, you're going to know I recommend every single person in the flock has Breece on their roster. Lucas says, should I trade James Cook and Evans to get me Ridley? If it's a league with only 1 flex, hell yeah. JD says, Swift on waiver wire, or should I pick him up? Wait, yeah, you should pick him up if he is. We have Burrow, CMC, Mixon, Gibbs, Javonte, Montgomery, AJ Brown, Devon Smith, Higgins, Mike Williams, Lockett, Pittman. Yeah, go out there, drop Michael Pittman, get DeAndre Swift. No brainer. I mean, especially if we're going to be elite at wide receiver position at the very top. Kim asking if we accidentally missed chat. Let me go ahead and double check this, my man. I definitely saw your donation earlier. Hopefully we did not miss it. Okay. This was a 10-team full BBR format where we have Richardson, Ramadre, Kyron, Chase, Watson, Laporta, Wilson. We have Hall, Watson, London, Kirk, Addison, Charbonnet, Gainwell. We traded Hill and London for JT Swift. Oh no, Hall. Yeah, we answered this. Hall and London for JT and Swift. Yeah, we said we would rather have a Swift over London clearly now, and we would rather have JT over Hall. We did answer that, my friend. But yes, great deal. Great deal. Love it, my man. E-Man says, hey, brother, you missed about 5 donuts. Okay, let me see if... Seeing if... I'm going through and skimming real quick. I don't think so, my man. Actually, we missed this one. Pallet says traded Hall and Flowers for King Henry. Beautiful. Exactly what we're talking about when we're saying sell Breece Hall. DJ says 12-team PPR format, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. Lawrence, Saquon, Etienne, Diggs, Watson, Schultz, Jamal, Richardson, Judy, DJ Moore, Hollywood, Deontay, Gainwell, Jeff Wilson Jr. Any trades? I think we answered this one. Just in case we didn't, the primary thing we're going to look to do is see if we can get value from Anthony Richardson and one of these depth wide receivers. Or maybe say like DJ Moore and Dalton Schultz, go get a better tight ends. Or if you were to go like Anthony Richardson, Jamal Williams, go get a better running back. Miguel says we're 1-0. We have Eckler, Etienne, Kelly, Gainwell, Puka, Deontay, Waddle, Lamb, Ayuk, Laporta, Everett, Kirk, Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson. If this is a 1 quarterback format, you can't be rostering all 3 of these QBs. You will go ahead and you'll look to sell one of these guys. I think the most value you're going to get after this week probably will end up being Kirk Cousins, and we can play Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson based off matchups. If you wanted to go like Kirk Cousins and Joshua Kelly, go get a long-term viable running back 3, I think that can make sense. And Kevin says 12-team app PBR format, Watson. Running backs are Bijan, Jones, Akers, Warren. Wide receivers are Metcalf, Williams, Lamb, Moore, Collins, Frymuth. Any moves? Probably need another running back. It depends, right? So if Aaron Jones is good to go, you don't need another running back. But if you could somehow sell like DJ Moore and Cam Akers to go get another viable RB to fill in for Aaron Jones, if Aaron Jones were to miss time, then let's go ahead and let's do it. But it's like so much easier said than done. Like a monkey could tell you to do that, right? It's like I'm not reinventing the wheel there. Just like, can we actually find someone to go out there and pay us for that package? Tim says 12-team at BBR league where we have Fields, St. Brown, Bijan, Olave, Montgomery, Andrews, Lockett. And then on the bench, we have Dillon, Sutton, Jacoby, Burks, Dobbs. First-year fantasy football, any moves. My man, this is great for your first year of fantasy football. The only thing I would say is if we could go through and capitalize on some of this depth. We don't even have that much. I have nothing for you. The only thing I'd say is if Aaron Jones were to miss, please make sure you are starting A.J. Dillon over Tyler Lockett. Great team. David says Purdy or Fields? Definitely Fields. It doesn't matter. Purdy's a better quarterback. Fields has more rushing upside. And Judy or Zach Moss, we're going to go Jerry Judy. Can't play Zach Moss. And any help or recommendations we appreciate. No, thank you so much, my man, for being a member of the flock and supporting the channel. Really, really do appreciate you. Now, Bobby says got to 2,000 likes. Yeah, thank you so much for everybody going down there and dropping a like on the live stream. Really do appreciate y'all, ladies and gentlemen. I know we're maybe winding down here a bit. I know I maybe seem a little bit tired, but hell, we've live streamed for like 6 hours a day over the past 3 days. And also, obviously, all the videos, all the work on flockfantasy.com. But also, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, find it in the description, find it in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, 100% deposit match up $200, plus our top 150 rest of season rankings and tiers. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, you get an additional special pick'em. You're going to be getting a Joe Burrow more than less than half a passing yard special pick'em for Sunday night. And also, please include Tua in your special pick'em ticket. If you go more than less than on the total yards for Tua this weekend, Underdog's going to give away $10,000 to 10 separate people who do just that. But Tristan says Anthony Richardson, Nick Chubb, Brian Robinson, Diggs, Williams, Hawkinson, Avonta Smith, Amari, Dak, Lockett, Sky, Daniel Jones, Warren Mitchell. Any trade ideas? Don't love having 3 quarterbacks here, my man. we can capitalize on value from any of them to get an upgrade at running back 2 over Brian Robinson, I think that make a lot of sense. We have a ton of depth at wide receiver, and we have the top end production. We have a great tight end as well. Yeah, assuming this is a 1 quarterback format, literally the only thing I have for you is see if we can trade Anthony Richardson, Brian Robinson, get back a better RB2. Now, Justin says PBR flex Elijah Moore, Watson, Pacheco, or Michael Thomas. We're going to go Michael Thomas. I don't think Watson will play, my man. Bald Icon says thoughts on Jameson when he returns. I think he will be very good for the Detroit Lions in stretching NFL defenses and providing space underneath for the other options in this offense. I don't think he'll be that great for fantasy. I don't think he'll command a lot of volume. Chitty coming out says trade Garrett Wilson and Pacheco for Kamara and Mike Williams. I think we can get a little more. 12-team league where we have Herbert, Ridley, Flowers, Swift. Hell yes. Pollard, Hawkinson, Jameson. I don't mind at all going through and trying to sell Garrett Wilson. I think we need a little more, though. Sosa Boy says Tyreek for Mahomes and Higgins. Probably going to stick with Tyreek, but damn close. It really depends on your team and format. Caleb says Puka or Jerry Jeudy. I'd definitely rather have Jerry Jeudy long-term or any other. No, just go get Jerry Jeudy, my man. Rich says Javonte or Miles Sanders rest of season half PPR format. They're going to be right there. I mean, if you look at my rest of season rankings on flockfantasy.com, it really is just a personal preference, up to you. Bradley says 12-team PPR format where we have Fields, Gibbs, Pierce, Chase, Williams, Kincaid, DJ Moore, Roshan, Gainwell, Kyron, Puka, Dotson, Khalil Herbert. Do I hold? If we don't need Puka in the short term, I would look to go ahead and sell him for the long term. I think we would sell him and DJ. Actually, no, we have Justin Fields. We're going to keep DJ Moore. I'd look to sell him and Kincaid to see if we can get a long-term upgrade to tight end. See if we can go get someone like George Kittle. I'd really like that. Okay, our next question coming out from, I believe, I'm Gucci, you Polo. This will be the last question we're doing tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Please do not donate again. But thank you again, everybody. Says, 10-team PPR format. We have Allen, Eckler, Etienne, JT, Pacheco, Diggs, Deontay, Watson, Pittman, Godwin, Addison. Tight end is Freiermuth and Kmet. Any moves to make? We lose the wide receiver depth with Deontay and Watson, so we lose a lot of the firepower and the flexibility that we have to make trades. We have no Deontay. We have no Christian Watson. We have no Jonathan Taylor for weeks. Eckler's banged up. So, my man, you are in a position where you don't have any flexibility. You can't afford to make moves. You're over here just trying to stay alive. I'm sorry to say it, but I think we have enough production to get by where we don't have to sell one of the injured players at a loss, but we do need to wait for them to come back. But thank you so much for being a member of the flock. But thank you, everybody, for being here. I mean, we're to live stream every single day until 2024. So if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you drop a like as well. And if you want to check out any of these pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy, by far and away the best way that you can support this channel, promo code FLOCK, 100% of pause match up $200, plus our top 150 rest of season rankings and tiers. And on top of that, you will get an additional mystery special pick'em. It's Joe Burrow, more than less than half a passing yard against the Ravens on Monday night. And please make sure you use Tua in your pick'em slip. That way you are entered to win $10,000 this Sunday, giving away $10,000 to 10 separate people. But I think that's all I have for y'all. Again, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I really do appreciate you. I really hope you have a great day. And I really hope that I get to see you out with the live stream tomorrow night.